What's not to love about Monterey? The surf, sand, sun, and it's all just a stone's throw from us here at Del Monte Golf Course. We've had so much fun and the party's not over yet. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Danielle Trotta. Great to have you with us. 4 hours of live coverage here on ESPN+. And today is the best of the best, guys. Some of the most exquisite, classic, and modern exotics that are going to cross the block, including 23 Porsches. And our very own Chris Jacobs is with one now.
Oh, yeah, Danielle. One of the stars of those 23 Porsches is this 1955 Porsche 356 Pre-A Speedster. Beautifully restored. It has its original hood, doors, deck lid, seats, and instrument cluster, but it does have outlaw status too, and that comes from its powertrain. This is a flat 4 sourced out of a 912, and that's hooked up to a Porsche 741 transaxle. So this one has got a little bit of everything. It's going to be great to see it going across the block later today.
Yeah, Chris, one of 23 Porsches that we have inside the big white tent. Also, 13 Ferraris are going to cross the block, and Steve Matchett is with one now. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Danielle, you said exquisite, and I want to share this car with you, the 1968 Ferrari 330 GTC, a significant Ferrari, and the reason for that is this is about the first time in the history of Maranello where the customer came first, and they were demanding luxury on the car. We like your old race cars, Enzo, but how about some leather interior? How about a wooden steering wheel? Make it more luxurious for us. And the answer was this beautiful example, which will cross the block later today.
Steve Matchett, that is a beautiful example, but it's hard to pick a favorite. I'm sure you're asked by folks at home and folks here at the auction, no matter which Mecum venue we're at, which car here is your favorite? Well, especially here in Monterey, Scott Hoke and Bill Stevens, I think that question is impossible to answer, and there's so much more to touch on, right, Scott Hoke, that we're going to see today?
Well, yes and no, Danielle. The question is, all of these cars are our favorites, as I'm sure you know so well, including American muscle and pony cars. This 1967 Shelby GT500 in night mist blue will be crossing the block a little bit later today. You want vintage European performance and luxury. How about a 1959 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Roadster, one of only 200 built? That will be knocking on the door of $1 million territory today, as will an American classic. 1932 Duesenberg Model J, sweet panel, dual Cal Phaeton, Legrand coachwork, the style of Legrand coachwork, and that magnificent automobile will be coming up today. And Bill Stevens, it's interesting to note that both the Mercedes-Benz and the Duesenberg, I mentioned 7 figures. A year ago here at Monterey, we had 11 cars that joined that $1 million club. So that's kind of our target today, and we've got plenty of opportunity to meet or exceed that number this year.
Well, this is the town for $1 million cars, believe me. You know, the average median household income in Monterey, California is $104,000. And if you go to one of the local parts stores for a part for your car and you get one of those little pine trees, it smells like money. I'm not kidding. So, yeah, we'll see a lot of big ticket cars today. But if you're a hobbyist, you know, maybe an amateur collector, might have a surprise or two for you two.
Well, let's talk about a car that is on your list. Maybe close to that $1 million territory, but it's certainly been on the rise in recent years.
Yeah, we've been seeing these 4 GTs this generation going up and up with the low mileage. This one with the Heritage paint job. That's the Gulf livery that pays homage to the 1968 and 1969 Le Mans winners that were campaigned by John Wyer. Now, mechanically, just what you might expect. The 550 horse, 5.4 liter supercharged V8, the aluminum engine with a 6-speed transaxle. This car, by the way, has been autographed by Camillo Pardo, the man who designed the 2005 and 2006 Ford GTs. This car has 3 options, and if you count the Heritage paint, it's got 4, and it's coming up later on today.
All right. That is spectacular over in the big glass house, which is home all week long for the creme de la creme of what we have here in store for you at Mecum Monterey. Our first vehicle on the block, certainly very much at home on the peninsula. You might see one of these out in Carmel or PG or even up the road somewhere else. A 58 BMW Isetta 600 for $22,000. They're calling it a limousine, and that's a stretch.
A limousine for munchkins, maybe. But we talked a little bit just now about affordability. Look at this. The Reserve comes off at $22,000. They invested, by the way, over $80,000 in the restoration on this car. So you can tell that it is perfect. And you know what? With that 582cc flat twin-cylinder engine, you can do an honest 60 miles an hour. So that's not a muscle car for sure, but it's so darn cute, and someone is about to buy it.
Yep.
Got it. You got it.
That is fantastic. $25,000.
Usually you get in and out through the front, which you can see the door there, but the limousine has side doors too.
Wow, the leg room that they must be able to enjoy.
How much fun is that?
Oh, that is fantastic. Okay, let's move on to a 1967 Jaguar E-Type Series 1 here.
Oh, in silver with a black interior. What a showpiece. It's got the 4.2-liter inline six-cylinder engine. That came in 1964. They actually switched over from the 3.8 to the 4.2. And what's interesting is that both of those engines have the same horsepower rating, 265, but that 4.2, a little bit more torque. This one a 4-speed car. And look at the beautiful finish on this automobile, that silver paint with chrome wire wheels. And we're at $70,000.
You're out. Got 75,000. Anybody give 80,000? Anybody give 75? 80. Has $75,000 bid. $80,000. Anybody give 80? Close the bid at
75,000 will not match what the consignor is hoping for.
Right. I'd say it's moderately short of the target.
Okay. So it will be on its way to bid goes on for our purposes. Look at this. A 1907 Indian tri-car. Exceptionally rare and very, very original condition here. And this little tri-car from Indian was part of the Urban Hirsch collection. And if you happen to be with us as part of our Mecum motorcycle event not long ago, we had, I believe, more than 100 of his motorcycles. What an amazing, eclectic, rare collection it was. And Dana Mecum is at least going to saddle up there.
Oh, Carol Duckworth taking her life into her own hands.
Yes, she is. $40,000 is the current bid. It's got a roughly 17.5 cubic inch single cylinder, single speed engine. You see that Camelback fuel tank behind the seat over the rear wheel. There you go. And you can vaguely make out the Indian logo, and the Reserve comes off.
You know, when someone says an Indian motorcycle, this is not the one most people picture. You know, Indians have become some of the most valuable motorcycles in the world, but none that look like this tri-car.
They're looking at me.
You want to give 70?
Do you want to do 68?
Yep.
68.
68.
These three-wheelers were actually quite common way back in the day with the passenger up front configuration like you see it here.
Yeah.
I think we got it.
And you see the pedals and the chain from a conventional bicycle that combines with the little engine.
Yes,
wow.
yes.
$68,000. And proof positive that you can come to Monterey and see just about anything.
We say that every year.
Well, we mentioned the muscle cars, the exotics, the performers. How about the opulent, This 1960 Imperial Crown convertible. Unbelievable restoration. It's an AACA Senior Grand National Award winner with a rebuilt engine that is just impeccable. That will be coming up a bit later on in our program today. Right now, for a very interesting pair of cars, let's go to Chris Jacobs.
Yeah, Scott, we had a bunch of demons go across the block yesterday. In fact, I think one of them was on our top seller list. But today we're offering a pair. Dodge did something very cool in 2023 when the D170 came out. If you had purchased a 2018 Demon from the factory, you were allowed to get the same VIN number in the 2023 D170. These are paired as serial number 2516. Now check out these skinny fronts here. Those are part of what's called the Demon Crate, which is included if the winning bidder picks up these two cars. So this is the 2018, this is the 18 version right here. And then if we swing around to the other side, this is the 2023 version. Both of them are done in B5 blue. Both of them have the matte black over the top. Both of them have sunroofs. Both of them have that demonic red interior. Very cool color combination. Now you can easily identify the D170 from its narrow in the front and wide in the rear body style. And once again, very unusual offering to have a pair of VIN matching Demons, the 2018 Demon and the 2023 D170. Coming across a little bit later today, Scott.
You know, I can tell that Chris really loves those cars. Did you notice a little saliva buildup going on there?
Yes, I did. That usually happens. Thank you, Chris. And don't forget that Dodge is the official automotive manufacturer sponsor of Mecum Auctions, and we are more than thrilled to have them on board with us for yet another year. Twinsies coming up a little bit, almost twinsies coming up a bit later on. Bill, when's the last time we've had two 71 Corvette LS6s? We had one yesterday. Here's another one.
Hey, I can't get enough of these cars. Oh, do I love these Corvettes. 1 year only, 71 LS6, 425 horsepower, 454, one of only 50 in the convertible version that were built. This car, probably the swan song for the big block, big horsepower Corvettes. And look at this, we're already at $100,000. I want to point out this is not a ZR2. That's that track-ready 71 Corvette with the LS6 powertrain. But this one has a ZR2 radiator in it, so it does have some DNA.
They only built 12 of those, right?
12.
Oh, 12.
12 of those, yes. Very rare, those ZR2s. This one, again, not one of those, but just about all the good stuff you'd find on a ZR2.
Wow, and that paint is spectacular.
Yes.
Oh, no surprise that that car brought over $100,000.
Oh, man, Brands Hatch Green. I'm so glad someone bought that.
Big time. Okay, we'll move next to a 1971 Di Tommaso Pantera, and our man Steve Matchett has miraculously torn himself away from the Bianco Speciale, the Ferrari, to tell us more about this Di Tommaso Pantera.
You know, I'm always fascinated by these cars and the engineering of them. Have a look inside the cockpit and you'll see that gated shift lever there. Well, we know exactly where Di Tommaso got that idea from because we saw it on the 250 Ferrari. Hey, they thought, we like that idea, and so they copied it onto this car. The other thing I like about this car, guys, is when we talk about the weight distribution, look how far forward in the car the engineers managed to get that 351 Ford engine. I mean, the center line of the car is about there. I mean, it is literally right up against the driver's back.
Love it. The reserve is off. We're over 100 grand.
Are you guys ready for this? Not the original owner, but the subsequent owner of this car bought it in February of 1985, and it has been inside an enclosed trailer until 2024.
Wow.
So
very
this
cool.
Truly was a car that was preserved to the condition you see it in now.
$110,000 just bought that car. Very cool car next. This is a 1970 Porsche 914-6. with a good story. Its owner, the consignor, is our good friend, the chairman of the NHRA Museum Board of Directors, Dale Coleman, down in Pomona. And look at this and wait till you hear some of the details of the work that Dale has done on this car.
Oh, the list goes on and on, Scott. Definitely more than an original car with all of the modifications and upgrades that it has gone through. The powertrain, we'll take a look at the presentation of the car too. How about that for a restored and beautifully, impeccably prepared Porsche. This is a car, once again, that when it first hit the United States was not a grand slam right out of the batter's box. And of course, they upgraded that engine. They went to the bigger engine, the six-cylinder engine, later on in the production series of these cars. And then it began to find some love in it. But, I mean, a rebuilt 5-speed manual transmission. This was stripped to the bare metal during the restoration process. That's Gluss Sort Green is what that's called. And once again, the original Weber carburetors are still mounted on the engine. Probably just one of the finest 914s you're going to find anywhere. Wow.
What caused that delay, do you think, Bill, in this car taking off? Is it the aero profile around the rear of the car? I mean, it's quite a unique shape for Porsche, isn't it?
Yes, and I would expect that from a man who's an engineer. However, I think what tugged it down a little bit was people made connections between this and the Volkswagen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, this one, deservedly so, $135,000. So mark that up in the sold column. Beautiful green 914.6. Back with more in just a moment.
The 1971 365 GTS4. It's the Ferrari Daytona Spider. And this particular example looks 100% impeccable, perfect. And I say that because it is Classic A certified. It has the red book issued by Maranello. And what that means is that Ferrari experts have gone over this car with a fine-tooth comb, checking every last nut, bolt and washer and interior detail to make sure it matches perfectly with the records kept within Maranello. The car has to be absolutely as it left the factory to carry that Classic A certification. It is of immense value to the car. This car has it, and it is, again, beautiful.
Well, it's hard to find a Ferrari that is not beautiful. Steve Matchett knows them oh so well. Thank you, Steve, for your expert commentary on that car. By the way, that is the car on the right. And it's in your picture now, but will be leaving that glass house in short order to make its way to the auction block. And we'll have it for you as part of our coverage today on ESPN+. Right now, we have a 1969 Shelby GT350 at no reserve, Brother Bill.
One of the major chapters in the Carroll Shelby story coming to a close just about this time. The 1969 GT350 was carried over to 1970. This is a 69 here. These were not terribly powerful, crazy torque monsters. 290 horsepower 351 and 4-speed manual in this car, but that unmistakable Shelby GT350 and 500 styling from 69 and 70 is what drives a lot of people toward them.
Sure does. $80,000 will allow the new owner to drive that off the golf course here and take it home. 1960 Impala Bubble Top is up next for us.
And an original car. How about that?
Very nice.
Yes, tuxedo black. Beautiful tuxedo black. That is a repaint. Look at the gloss on that car. Also, the red interior that looks just great with the black. Frame off restoration, but we don't want to overlook that engine right there. 348 cubic inch. What we call the big block back then. We'd only had, small blocks, the mouse motors, up until 1958. Here in 1960, we've got the 348 with the 3 two-barrel carburetors. A couple of different horsepower ratings were available that year with the Power Glide automatic, power brakes, and big wide white wall tires. No reserve.
80,000, 70, 80, 70 bid.
And if you're looking to identify what's known as a bubble top, it's all about that rear pillar and the taper from top to bottom. It's a bubble top. It's a bubble top. Back
Classic
glass
look.
play as well.
Classic look, man.
Yeah, the guys at Ford were paying attention when they built the Starliner. The Starliner coupe, it's got that same profile in the back.
75,000. Sir? 75,000. Yes or no?
But this one doesn't appear to be a bubble top, Bill. Not have that on the consignment sheet. And that rear pillar is not tapered as I was just describing, so I don't believe that this one is a bubble top.
That's a nice car. But it does have that oversized rear window, so we'll get our best people on this too.
All right, it sells for $72,000 at no reserve. So 1969 Camaro that has been, as you like to say, restored maybe to within an inch of its life.
Yeah, that is certainly an apt description of this one. But it is a resto mod. It is not back to original. And oh dear. Anybody recognize that engine there? That's an LT5, and if that sounds familiar, let's go back to the C7 ZR1 Corvette with that 755 horsepower LT5. That is what is sitting in this Camaro. 6-speed manual transmission, rack and pinion steering. They've upgraded the drivetrain with a torsion differential. Those are absolutely indestructible, independent rear suspension. Yeah, couldn't get that in the stock 69 Camaro. Just so much great creativity went into this build, but it will have to go to the bid goes on desk.
I like the tip of the cap to that LT5 right there in the middle of the grill, Bill. Do you see that?
Yes.
Just a little subtle LT.
Yeah.
Hello.
People still wouldn't know what's under that hood just from those two little letters.
A lot of them wouldn't.
Yeah.
They think maybe Lawrence Taylor used to own this car.
Maybe LT, right? Yep.
All right. First of a couple of motorcycles that are very important and very significant bikes. This first one, a 1924 BMW R32, very early production model of the first BMW motorcycle model in 1924, the R32.
You know, one of the things, I'm sorry, Scott, one of the things we always used to notice about a BMW motorcycle was the drive shaft, like we can see on this one here.
Absolutely, and 90,000 is not going to be close to what is necessary on that motorcycle. The first of two BMW bikes, and the second one is now from 1929. This is kind of the evolution of the BMW motorcycle with the R63, 735cc, 24 horsepower overhead valve boxer twin with a 3-speed manual transmission. This is the first, you see the flat fuel tank. This is what the first of the, quote, flat tank BMWs. And that was really a trademark that ran for any number of years. Very distinctive to the BMWs back in this time period.
And notice the boxer designation. We can see they're horizontally opposed cylinders, just like we see in Porsches.
They look very wide, don't they? But I think that boxer engine gives great stability when it's inside a motorcycle.
Probably will help balance the bike.
Yeah.
All right, that one, I believe, sold on a conditional sale. They were going to get in contact with the consignor, make sure that $58,000 was going to be enough and satisfactory to the consignor. So we will push forward to a 1950 Vincent, and in the pantheon of vintage and collectible motorcycles, the Vincent Black Shadow Series C is one of the ultimate, most desirable motorcycles on the planet, even to this day.
I mean, I like them just from that name.
Oh,
Black Shadow.
No doubt. It was an instant legend, an instant collectible, and it was the fastest production motorcycle in the world. Forget this, from 1948 all the way to 1973.
Yeah, that beats Joe DiMaggio's record for consecutive hits, I think, doesn't it?
It may be. Philip Vincent, the father of the Vincent motorcycle line.
You want to sell it? What do we need to get to? 72 is what we got. That's all we got.
Exquisite restoration, 1000cc V-twin, 4-speed, manual transmission.
Oh, 75? Well, we have 7. We don't have that. We have 72.
Actually, one of 2 of these Black Shadows that we have here.
75 pounds and out of it. And we're going to close it. 72 pounds and out of it.
And it's 72,000. That's going to be, again,
Oh, we're close. We're close.
that number is short of the mark, but they're going to reopen the bidding and see what happens.
Over 3,000? 74.
You sure?
You give 74?
I got 72 pounds and out of it. 72 pounds and out of it.
60, 75, which is
72.
Yeah, got 72. Gonna sell it?
Boy, we must be
Free
so
service
close,
off.
so close to a deal.
Oh, wow.
2, 5. Everybody else, 75. So 72 pounds and out of it.
Yeah.
My goodness, that is fantastic. A lot of documentation, a very, very well-known ownership history, terrific provenance, and it sells for $72,000. Somebody just got a fantastic motorcycle for that money.
There's stuff everywhere. This thing's from this is from the future.
That's
but from the
pretty
past.
cool. There's the Mopar room, baby. This is my kind of room right here.
Yanko Stinger back there.
Yes.
And when did he start collecting cars?
Not until he was in his 80s.
What if we just pool our money and then get a bunch of really wealthy friends to give us their money and then we just buy the whole thing?
I love that idea.
How would you check the oil on this 57 Ford? Did you notice the back side of it?
Oh, it's a double.
That's wild.
Oh boy.
Come on. Swarovski crystals.
Each crystal was individually set by hand over a period of 6 months. 1 million crystals used to cover the car. That's amazing. All right, mini car heaven.
Well, I'll say I've never seen a car collection of one individual that has this sort of variety and quality. Like sometimes you'll find a guy that really likes muscle cars, or maybe they really like,
European exotics, Ferraris.
Exactly.
Whatever.
But this is everything. It's a full gamut. And a collector that didn't start collecting until his 80s?
Yeah.
That's so impressive.
Yeah, one of a kind. Nobody else has done this.
Well, the Larry's Legacy, Larry Claremont Museum Collection, that is coming up in the Chicago area, September 19th, 20th, and 21st. We've got a couple of cars here that are on display, including this PPG IndyCar World Series pace car, Bill, and right next door to it is the Golden Sahara.
Well, what a pair, what a pair. And that pace car, I'll tell you, usually pace cars are pretty conservative, maybe a little bit of cosmetic upgrades, but that one is wilder than I've ever seen. And wild, look at the tires that have internal lighting in them. Just indescribable.
Yeah, the last time we saw that Golden Sahara, it was in Indy, as I recall, and it was unrestored. So it went to the Claremont Museum, and now it's restored, and that'll be ready for the auction coming up in September. Hope you can be there in Chicago. Well, this 1965 Jaguar E-Type Series 1 is at 130 and climbing.
Yeah, we had a 67 Series 1 a little bit earlier, and this is close but no cigar. This one is painted in a beautiful red finish with a tan interior with red line tires on the chrome wire wheels. 4.2 liter, that's that 265 horse engine that made these not only beautiful but also excellent performers as well.
All right, well, let's bring you up to date on what happened just a few moments ago during our most recent commercial break. Going all the way back to 1910. Look at this, absolutely spectacular. 1910 Harley-Davidson 6A single. That's a 30 cubic inch single cylinder engine. Total restoration. That black, keep an eye on that, because in 1910, that was the last year that black was an optional color in the Harley palette. We're so used to seeing them in gray or drab green, and that sold for $105,000, and right now it's in our top 5 today. As we check in with Chris Jacobs one more time, he's over in the 303 staging lane. Chris?
Oh, Scott, we got a pair of powerful Porsches coming across the block. First up is a 2019 911 Speedster, done in guards red, black center lock wheels. This one is sporting a 4-liter plus the 6-speed manual transmission. Want a little bit more performance, but you don't like putting the top down and you don't like that third pedal? Well, how about this 2019 911 GT2 RS Coupe? This one's slightly smaller displacement, 3.8 liter, backed up by that 7-speed PDK. That's Porsche Doppelkupplung, or dual clutch transmission. Wow, are these impressive cars, and they are coming across one after the other very, very soon. Scott?
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Over in that 303 staging lane. You know, we haven't mentioned so far this weekend, Rutledge Woody is not with us. He's on assignment. He's racing. And I say Rutledge Woody because it would be perfect for him to be talking about this car.
What an excellent segue. Yes. Now, this is, you know, the kind of car that you'd expect to see on the West Coast. This is totally California. This is Cool-California, if you want to use that term. And it just sells. That's a 1950 Ford Custom Woody, all gone through. The guys over there by Jimmy C. and his Customs and Randy Ward responsible for this beautiful Woody that sells for $72,000.
And you know, honestly, that's a car that Rutledge would be all over. He would be digging that car, wouldn't he?
He'd be in it right now.
He might have bought it.
Yeah.
Okay, 1968 Mustang Custom Convertible.
Yeah, it's got, wow is right. Let's talk about the engine. 427 cubic inch stroker V8. They started with a 351 Dart Iron Eagle block. Big power in there. Aluminum heads, Molly pistons, comp cams. Mayer Racing Enterprises did the E-body kit, as you see, and kind of gives it an Eleanor sort of vibe, if you look carefully at this car. Of course, Eleanor was the fastback. This is the convertible, but it has the Shelby taillights. It has the correct look-alike pin drive wheels on it, and a Tremec 5-speed manual transmission, and lots of other work underneath. The QA1 coilovers, 4-wheel disc brakes from SSBC. Big money build, and a show car all the way.
Reserve is off. We've got a top seller for the day today so far.
All right, nice job, man.
There you
Beautiful
go. $200,000, the Hammer Falls. And that gentleman owns that Mustang Custom. When we come back, the Porsches that Chris just previewed will be up to bat. Welcome back to Mecum Monterey. Scott Hoke, Bill Stevens, Chris Jacobs, Danielle Trotta, Steve Matchett. Look at this. A 911 Porsche Speedster from 2019 has already cracked $400,000. No reserve. And when you say Speedster, that says it all on this car.
Yeah, that's a term that is hallowed ground with Porsche lovers.
Yeah, first introduced with a 356, reintroduced in the 80s, and has continued on to this generation. And what a gorgeous car. You know, I was going to say that going at no reserve might be a little risky, but not at that price.
Wow. You know, this is the perfect crowd to bring this car and the next one and sell them at no reserve, my opinion. And it just brought $405,000. Just wait, however, until you see the next one. Also 2019, but this one is the GT2 RS, Bill and Chris.
Let me just quickly add that part of the bidding that we just saw on this car might be because of the mileage. 258 miles on that one and 229 on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you want a track attack, you go GT2 RS. I mean, this is essentially a street legal race car with the Y-Stock package, of course. That's all the lightweight goodies. There's a special wishes program involved in this one, too, with the interior makeup. I mean, this car just looks like it's going 150 when it's standing still. I believe the top speed is somewhere in the neighborhood of 211. a nutty performance
Good
vehicle.
enough, and we're 10 grand away from 15 away from $500,000. And having these two cars back to back is such a stark contrast to what Porsche was doing back in the day. In fact, Ferrari Porsche, $500,000 bid, once said they were only building 6 cars a day. And he said, that's sufficient because, quote, we are first and foremost a design and consulting engineering firm.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Ferrari, you know, famous for the 356. His son Bootsy designed the 911, and that's really where Porsche started going into the performance realm.
And here's where we are now.
$520, $515, $520, $525, negative 525. Here now 520, now negative 530, 530 pounds without a negative 30, it'll be 30, 530. 530 pounds without a negative 530, 530 pounds without a negative 530.
Hey, Chris, let's take this one and the Speedster and go up to Laguna Seca. How about that?
Oh, would that be fun? And a little scary for whoever's driving the GT2 RS.
Oh, my goodness.
That gives me the chills.
That's fun.
That car is street legal if the street is the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans.
Right. Oh, that is cool. All right, here is another no reserve machine that is going to be in that same neighborhood, I do believe. It is a 2021 Mercedes-Benz AMG GT Black Series car.
Yeah, when you say Black Series, you have said a mouthful. 720 horsepower out of a little 4-liter V8 with twin turbos hanging off of it. By the way, 54 miles on the odometer on this Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Look at the bidder board.
2021, the 6th generation of these Black Series cars that debuted back in '06. And you'll like this, Bill. This is right up your alley. Mercedes-Benz actually called these cars the dark pinnacle of AMG performance.
Yeah, these redefined Mercedes-Benz performance as soon as they hit the showrooms.
No doubt about it. What a car that is. And how many miles did you say was on that? Just a handful.
A mere 54.
54, wow.
Yep.
Okay. So let's bring out a 1965 Corvette convertible. Again, selling at no reserve, part of, maybe 10, 11 cars in a row at no reserve.
Yeah, and an important car for Chevrolet because the Corvette just launched into the big block era in 1965 with their 396 Porcupine engine, called Porcupine because of the way that the valves are sort of splayed in different directions when you pull the valve cover. 425 horsepower out of that L78, this one with a 4-speed, and the ever-popular Nassau blue exterior paint. Blue interior will match that blue exterior, and this one has had a full documentation during the restoration with photos and receipts and all the paperwork you want to see. You see the Hurst shifter that replaces the original Muncie shifter the car would have been equipped with, the factory shifter. And of course, side exhaust, knockoff wheels, and gold striped tires. A perfect package.
$87,000. And it hammers right there at no reserve as we check in with Danielle Trotta.
Inside the glass house, a very special Ferrari is going to cross the block in just a little bit, Scott. This 1973 Ferrari Dino made a world record crossing the country in 1975. The Cannonball Dash went from New York to Los Angeles in just 35 hours and 53 minutes. The average speed, 83 miles per hour, driven by Jack May and Rick Klein. Jack will be with us later today as this Ferrari crosses the block. Steve Matchett, what do you think it was like for for these gentlemen to cross the country in record time in this Ferrari 52 years ago.
Their average speed was 80-something miles
83,
an hour,
yep.
83 miles an hour. It's worth remembering when we look at an average speed, some might say, well, 83, that's not actually that fast. Yeah, that also means stopping for fuel at an average speed of 83 miles an hour, stopping at traffic lights at an average speed of 83, changing drivers. So it's actually a very impressive record. Talking to June, who was chief mechanic on that run back in the day, she said the only thing we had to do to the car was change spark plugs, and I think that was because the police were sat right behind us and it fouled the spark plugs.
She also said here, Jake, let's take a look at this Valiance in the front. She said that's one of the only things here that had to be replaced because they hit some jackrabbits actually crossing into the desert parts of the West Coast. But a very special world record winning Ferrari, guys, unrestored condition, highly original, crossing the block in just a little bit.
Very good, Danielle and Steve. We await that automobile's arrival. No need to wait for this 1957 Corvette convertible selling again at no reserve.
Yeah, 1957, first year for fuel injection in the Corvette, but this one not the Fuelie car. This is the next step down, the two 4-barrel carburetors on the 283 with 245 horsepower. Big time frame off restoration, and this is one of only 263 that have been finished in that Aztec copper and beige color scheme. 4-speed manual in there. That was a mid-year addition to the 57 Corvette. And the auxiliary hardtop and soft top, the two-top setup comes with this automobile. And power windows, that was kind of a Tony extra for the Corvette 1957, yeah. And a power top was available too. This car does not have it, but yeah, the Corvette was beginning to kind of move into the Grand Touring category with some of those add-ons that were coming in.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, $77,000. That couple was the same pair that bought that 914-6 Porsche a little while ago.
Filling up their shopping cart, as it were.
We're back from break just in time to catch the end of this 1956 Ford F100 custom pickup. Not seeing a lot of these, but my goodness, this one was worth the wait, Bill Stevens. It broke the bank here, really, for 122.5 was the hammer price, and that's a live look at it making the corner and heading out of the tent here. So while we can, let us check in with Chris Jacobs now for today's NPD preview with NPD. Been around for nearly 50 years and one of our sponsors again this year, Chris.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Yeah, this one is officially a 1965 Mustang. Unofficially, it's a 1964 and a half. It was actually built on the first day of K-Code production in June of 1964, and it's believed to be one of the first dozen or so K-Code Mustangs produced. This one is done in red over red. You're getting a look at the high performance 289 right there, and that puts out 271 horsepower. And it is a 4-speed manual transmission. It's got the wheel covers on there. Just simple, but you know what? It is a K-Code, and that's what makes this car special. Now, if you have a Mustang anywhere from 1965 to 1973, this is your favorite reading material. And Bill, I'm going to let you take it away, buddy.
Just want to give a big shout out to Rick Schmidt, who's the COO of NPD, who we see at numerous Mecum auctions throughout the year. He is a hardcore muscle car guy, so you know that the parts in that that book you're looking at right there is going to help you out a lot when you're doing your restoration.
No doubt about it, guys. And thank you, Chris. Thank you, Bill. And they do have an extensive lineup of model-specific catalogs for you to take care of your restoration. All right, split window coupe on the block right now, 1963. Look at this. We are in the mid-100s already.
Not completely original either. $140,000 where the bidding is right now, but as you can see, just looking at this car, the wheel treatment and everything, we did not go back to 100% showroom. Underneath the hood, it's a 327. It has a Terminator Holley EF5 fuel injection system, and also MSD ignition and ignition coils and a Tremec 5-speed. So this has been gone through, and it is not going to make the money this time.
Okay, yes, falling a little bit shy at $140,000. And a 1967 convertible is right behind it. I see the big block hood.
Yes,
and,
you do.
We can trust that there is a big block lurking underneath.
It's the biggest of the big blocks, except the L88. It's the L71. 435 horse, 427 with 3 2-barrel carburetors. And when I say NCRS top flight, well, you can pretty much bank that this Corvette is right on. It is righteous. Frame off restoration, documented. Has the tank sticker. This is the first year these Corvettes could come through with that tank sticker. That was like the birth certificate for the automobile. Al Grenning, CCAS engine pad certification. Big Al's given it his seal of approval. Close ratio, 4-speed, the optional F41 special suspension, and 411 positive traction rear end with side exhaust. Hallelujah, what a Corvette.
I love when you get excited about it. It's so much better than having you say, Scott, I'm sad.
Yeah, this car makes me sad.
I haven't heard that in a while. That's good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
275.
Looks like the internet has the upper hand at the moment.
Wow, heavy bread. And this is not a coupe. It's convertible. And a lot of people prefer the coupe over the drop top. But in this situation, we're almost up to $300,000. A few more bids, we may get there.
Matt Morvac, our auctioneer, has it at 275. And he said it's going to take at least 300.
Yeah,
to get the deal done there.
Not a surprise.
All right. So following in the footsteps in the wake of that 67 Corvette is a 1968 Mustang Custom. And look at the Paint Hall of Fame, Bill, all the way.
For both color and application, Scott.
True.
So you might say that this is sort of like an Eleanor stepsister with wearing a different dress. Let's put it that way. Custom rotisserie build completed last year. Shelby styling. The custom body kit, as you can see, and that's Mercedes-Benz olive green metallic. So that is an OEM color, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Yep, 10-speed automatic. Everything underneath has been redone. The suspension, the brakes, all of the underpinnings, custom drive shaft, the interior. You've got a good look at it. And that custom saddle finish. Beautiful, beautiful job. And you kind of like the fact that they went a little different here in how they went about this build. We see so many of these in that metallic gray, metallic silver, and the green really gives it some distinction.
They can still go bid on it for the rest of the day if they get an offer.
All right, 200,000, the high bid on that Mustang. Well, it is that time of the day. The first car we've had today that it really has a legitimate shot at that $1 million club. Let's see what happens. It would not be unprecedented. 1932 Duesenberg Model J, sweet panel dual cowl Phaeton.
Well, I don't have to spend a lot of time telling you about the restoration on this, because this car, I mean, is speaking to everyone in this room right now.
Yep.
Absolutely pristine. 420 cubic inch inline 8-cylinder, that famous Duesenberg straight 8 with 265 horsepower. So much history behind this automobile. 1932, the Duesenberg brothers sold the company to Eric Cord, and his first order of business with that company was to build an automobile like this. Both of the Duesenberg brothers stayed on for a while. One of them moved on, and one of them stayed with Cord, and he took over the Model J project. The most expensive, powerful, and luxurious car on planet Earth was the plan, and boy, did they ever score. Different coach builders built bodies on these cars. Mulliner, I mean, I go down the list. Fisher,
Dietrich, Legrand. This is the Legrand style.
Right. And they all had their own particular way of creating the style of these cars, and we're at 1.250 right now.
Here, this is so funny. This car is so historic, and during the restoration, they've used so many original parts and original date parts. But look at this, Bill. It has a modern Tremec 6-speed manual transmission.
I almost didn't want to say that because it kind of breaks the spell a little bit.
That I don't think I've ever seen before on a doozy.
No, and I'd like to know what kind of engineering was used to get that transmission to mount up to the back of that engine.
Hello, Mr. Tremig. I have a Duesenberg. I'd like to put your product in, right?
Is this Rick at NPD? Yeah, look.
Right. Oh, my goodness. Well, you can welcome that Duesenberg to the $1 Million Club, the first of today's vehicles to get to that level.
Look at the wheelbase, too. This is that long wheelbase configuration that just a handful of these Duesenbergs had when they were being ordered originally. That just makes that car look almost,
the auctioneer has you in at $1.2
too
million.
luxurious.
That's what I thought I had to ask you for is $1.250 million. I thought I was supposed to ask you for $1.250 million, but he said he has you in at $1.2 million.
$1,300,000 to the bid. Well,
what's the bid at?
He's got you in at $1.2 million.
Folks, over $2 million in restoration loan. He's bid here at $1.2 million. And it was $1,300,000 to the bid.
Well, they're getting that all sorted out.
Is he done any advance? $1.2 million, $1,300,000. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Sold $1,200,000.
There it is.
Congratulations. Sold $1,200,000. Next track lane.
A little bit of American automotive history right there. $1.2 million for that 1932 Duesenberg.
Well, wherever Fred and Augie Duesenberg are right now looking down, they can take a lot of pride in what someone just paid for something that they created.
Smiles all around. Okay, a couple of Cadillacs are going to follow up the Duesenberg, and these are spectacular cars in their own right. The legendary Series 452 V16 engine in both of these two Cadillacs, Bill. Let's start with this convertible coupe.
Yes, at the height of the Great Depression, these automobiles were still being built, and there were still people, believe it or not, that could afford them. And if you wanted your Cadillac with a V8, a V12, or a V16 at some point during the Great Depression, you'd get one. This is the 16-cylinder, the V16-cylinder engine with 175 horsepower and a 3-speed manual transmission. All kinds of luxury. This car had appointments and accessories that no other manufacturer could come close to, unless you're talking about a Duesenberg or an Auburn. Cars at that level, or Packards. Beam axle in the front, semi-elliptical rear springs, so it had the kind of ride that you would expect from a Cadillac back in the 1930s.
A little bit of history for you. Actually, the Cadillac emblem, which might be able to catch on the front of the car here. That's actually the coat of arms for the man who founded Detroit, and Cadillac, the motor company, was named after.
Yes, that's right. One of the early explorers that was responsible for founding the city of Detroit, Cadillac.
Oh, the reserve is off on this one. Very nice.
You know, back in the day, there were 72 different body styles available on these Cadillacs, and mostly because they were all custom ordered by customers and had coach builders build them to their specifications.
Okay, the convertible coupe sells for $230,000. And we go from maybe a little bit more of a sporty look in 1930 to the more formal family car look with the Sport Phaeton.
Yes, I don't feel so jaunty today. Let's take out the Phaeton. This has the same powertrain. This has got that V16, 175 horsepower, 16-cylinder engine with 452 cubic inches. That was a big daddy back in 1930, trust me. This car, formerly part of the Otis Chandler collection. And any car that was ever in that collection, you know, is one of the best on the planet. Fabulous restoration. So many people involved in bringing this car back.
There's an unusual connection between Cadillac and Ford. Cadillac was actually formed out of the remnants of the Henry Ford Company, which preceded Ford Motor Company. It was done so by Henry Leland. Henry Ford later got his revenge, though, when he acquired Lincoln, a company that Henry Leland had formed, and he unceremoniously showed Henry Leland and his son the door.
Yes, and interesting, Henry Leland was an engineer by trade, and he was responsible for the precision engineering in the Cadillacs. They won the Doers Trophy when Henry Leland formed that company. They basically took 3 Cadillacs to England, and they disassembled all of them down to the last component and put them all back together after mixing all the parts, and all of those cars started and ran as if they had just come from the factory.
Wow.
That's how precision an engineer
and
that he
quite
was.
the engineer. He actually invented the electric starter with Charles Kettering.
Electric starter. He was involved with the lubrication system in those engines. Those engines were balanced from the factory. You could start that engine and put a coin on the fender and it wouldn't move. I mean, you're right. Henry Leland was truly a legendary engineer.
We'll keep working.
We're at 660.
Comes back at 680.
I think when we hit 700,
we're at 680. That's close enough.
What, 90? This guy does? You're the guy that's going to buy this?
You want me to make him roll and ask him at 725, see if he comes back? But if he don't come back, just sell it at 680.
You going to buy something today? Are you selling? All right, good luck. Good luck. Okay.
So 700?
750 will buy it.
750? 700 work? 750.
Okay.
Well, let's see what happens next. You've heard the details, or the Mecum rule.
We're trying to advance the bid up to close to $750,000. If there's any counter, we can do so right now. Otherwise, we're going to close it at $680,000, close it at 680, and they're going to work a deal.
On I go then, Matt.
All right, so there you have it, 680.
All right. Now I'll bring out
and the bid goes on. Before we take a break here, I just want to give it a little bit of extra time to make sure they're actually going to let that one go before they reopen the bid. So I think they've officially closed it. We'll let you know if anything develops on that Cadillac. So with that, we'll step away. More straight ahead on ESPN Plus.
Welcome back to Mecum Monterey from one of my favorite spots on the planet, the Monterey Peninsula. Oh, such an epic view everywhere you look, and an epic view of what's in front of me right now. This is a 993 turbo, last of the air-cooleds, first of the turbos to provide power at all 4 wheels, powered by a 3.6-liter with the manual transmission. This is an unbelievable car. 996s are so hot in the 911 market right now. I can't wait to watch this one go across the block just a couple cars from now, Scott.
In fact, CJ, I believe we're going to have twin turbo time in a few minutes. We'll be looking at that one in particular. But we are looking at a 1967 Corvette Custom that has just had the reserve lifted, Bill Stevens, at $82,000.
Wow, full tilt custom all the way, 432 cubic inch big block with forged internals all strengthened inside, including Brodix cylinder heads, the aluminum ones, Edelbrock intake, and electronic fuel injection. And underneath, as you might expect, all of the latest suspension pieces, along with those ever-popular Willwood four-wheel disc brakes with painted calipers. Inside, beautifully stitched leather and special instrumentation as well. 5-speed manual from Richmond.
Sold 92. Sold $92,000.
Ooh, that's a bargain,
Jared.
believe it or
Now
not.
offering us 52.1 at
Yes, it is.
2024.
Yeah.
Porsche 911 Turbo.
At just $92,000.
Yeah, just the things I listed to you, that money wouldn't pay for everything I just told.
Wow. Very nice. Okay, couple of turbo twins. Okay.
Scott, be still my heart. Cabriolet 2024 jet black exterior, Bordeaux interior for the classier of us out there. Now what's cool about this car is it's got the rear steering on this car. So you want some performance on the street and on the track. This is what you're looking at right here. So good. 3.8 liter making over 570 horsepower. And you see the PDK transmission in there. That's one thing that Porsche stopped doing, offering the turbos in the manual transmissions. Who knows? Maybe it'll come back one day, but not right now. You get the 7-speed PDK.
That is the kookiest thing, that rear wheel steering. Few manufacturers came out with it. Really didn't get into a mass-produced kind of popularity, but under a certain speed, the back wheels turn in the same direction as the front, and then over a certain speed, they go in the opposite direction.
Right. Yeah, the engineering is a little mind-boggling.
Who thought of that?
225 is the bid on this most recent of the 7 generations of the 911 turbos through the years. They debuted all the way back in 1975, and the reserve comes off at $225,000.
Sorry, I misspoke. That is the 8-speed PDK, not the 7-speed PDK.
235, 235,000 a bid. 235 paired, not gonna be a 35, not gonna be a 235.
You know, talk about engineering. That's a little 3.8 liter flat 6 with 2 turbochargers, double overhead cam, 24 valve configuration on that motor, and it all adds up to 572 horsepower.
Wow.
Yikes.
Well, 225 just bought that one that's basically less than a year old. Now let's take a look at the one that Chris had, the 993 version from 1996.
This car is at the absolute pinnacle of air-cooled collectability right now, Scott. These cars are so desirable, and this one is so clean. And it's also got some interesting facets to it. It spent time in Japan, and that's where it got its ROW, Rest of the World status, and easily identifiable by these side marker lights on the front fender there. Very quick way to know when a car has that ROW status. This one is featuring the 3.6 liter, making 400 horsepower. And of course, you got the manual in there, which is every Porsche back from this generation. Sunroof car, and just the design of this turbo wing is so beautifully done. It matches the contours of the hips of the car so perfectly. Got the twisted wheels on there. This car is absolute perfection in my eyes.
Take it 220.
Hey, 220.
Guys, internet 210, 220, 210, 220 bid. 210, 220,000. Good time here, 210.
What do you think? Top speed, $180?
No. Yeah, in that range, 180, somewhere 180, 190.
And I'm sure at that speed, that car, as long as you're fairly competent, can be driven that fast.
Oh, yeah, it's solid.
The reserve is off at 215.
Thank you, sir.
And that's where it hammers, $215,000.
And amazingly, that's well bought, because that car is only going to go up in value.
No question about it. 100% true. Boy, I tell you what, if you get a chance to get into an air-cooled turbo 911, man, take it every time.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Del Monte Golf Course here on the 17th fairway on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Monterey, California. Danielle Trotta alongside Steve Matchett, who's going to show us the brand new Ferrari, the 2025 model, the 296 GTB. Steve Matchett, what's your approach on this one?
Well, thank you, Danielle. My approach to this car is going to be to look back into Ferrari history, because that is what Maranello are so good at doing. As you've rightly said, the designation for this car is 296.
and it is a V6. It is the first time Ferrari have installed a V6 engine into a car since the Dinos of the 1970s. And we were just looking at one a little earlier, so it's been a long while since they've done that. And in honor of doing that, also Ferrari have changed their numbering system. So the 296 is 2.9 litre, 6-cylinder. It is a hybrid. And that is about where the connection between the Dinos of the 70s ends and the new generation of Ferrari begin. Hybrid, a lot of horsepower, electronic assistance with everything. Personally, Danielle, I think this is a fantastic piece of engineering, and I've always said I wish Ferrari the very, very best with this.
The first time that we've introduced the V6 since 1974. Why do you think now Ferrari wanted to bring back this configuration?
I would suggest that all the motor manufacturers around the world, most especially in Europe, are always looking to the potential rules and law regulation changes governing what is permissible and what will not be permissible in the future for producing those road cars. And there was a time, of course, not that long ago when Ferrari said we will never, ever, ever produce any hybrid system. Well, maybe they will. The rules changed. Times change, philosophies change, and Ferrari want to adapt all the while. And they've done that with this car, but they've done it, I have to say, in fine style.
A nod to the Dino.
A nod to the Dino, no question, no question.
And not only in power, but a little bit in styling as well. It's really exquisite.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. If you put a 70s Dino and this alongside each other, you can see similar lines. Yes, there's lots of differences, but you can see what Ferrari were trying to achieve with it.
I started that Scott Hoke with my best Jim Nance, and hello, friends, from the 17th fairway here at Del Monte.
Yes, you did. Bill and I were both taken by your golf commentary there.
For a minute, I thought it was him.
All right, we are going to take a timeout here from Del Monte, from Monterey. When we come back, however, check this out. A Mercedes-Benz on the auction block here in Monterey. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to Del Monte Golf Course, Monterey. Scott Hoke, Bill Stevens, Chris Jacobs, Danielle Trotta, Steve Matchett. And let's say maybe you want to get into a pre-war classic car, Bill, but you don't want to pay $1 million plus for a Duesenberg or even a couple of $100,000 for a Cadillac V16. How about this? Little Packard Standard 8 Phaeton from 1929.
1929, the first year for the Great Depression, and things for Packard slowly but surely after the Depression went into decline. If you want a real Packard, the ones that set the pace for that brand, you want one from 1929 or earlier, and this one right here is a 633 Standard 8. These cars were so versatile. You get the Phaeton, you get the Runabout, you get the Opera Coupe, you get the sedan. But this one right here, probably the most luxurious of all of them. 3-speed manual transmission behind that 319 cubic inch inline 8-cylinder engine. And at no reserve, why, a mere $40,000.
Wow.
Just bought that car with a beautiful dual side mounts.
See, and you've got the great look, too.
Yeah, you do. It looks a lot more than what someone just paid for.
Big time. All right. That one in the books. And we move to the top of the, actually the car that I talked about at the top of the show, one of the cars, Muscle and Pony Car Performance. Here we go from right here in the good old USA, 1967 Shelby GT 500, Bill.
Yeah, and that color right there, that has favored nation status with a lot of Shelby lovers. Believe me, that night mist blue is so pleasing to look at from any angle. This is the dual quad 428. It's the only year now you get 2 4-barrel carburetors on a Shelby Mustang during that great first generation run from 1965 to 1970. Top loader, 4-speed. Yep, we want that. Has the original Stewart Warner gauges in this car with the deluxe Magstar wheels as well all the way around. A few extras, including the interior decor group as well. And this, of course, like all other true documented Shelbys in the Shelby American Automobile Club registry.
This is a little nostalgic for me. I mean, it's not going to bring me to tears or anything, but this car was sold brand new in my hometown, Jerry Alderman Ford in Indianapolis. those of you watching in the Indy area might remember that name from back in the day.
You have serious issues if that gets you all choked up. Okay, just from me to you.
All right, well, it's, you know, hey, Central Indiana, man, got to show the racing capital of the world a little love.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
The high bid on that Shelby, $310,000. Okay, VW Type 2 Combi Bus, 1965.
Custom. This has won a bunch of awards at different shows all over the country. This has a 1.9 liter flat 4-cylinder engine, but that's only the beginning. The heads have been rebuilt. It's got forged pistons, aluminum push rods, and special aftermarket DeLordo 36 carburetors. Wow. Bosch ignition. The cooling system's been upgraded. 4-speed manual transmission.
Hey, those are Porsche Fuchs wheels.
That's what they look like, yes. Yep, 15 inches too. Cool. Yeah, that's excellent treatment of a Type 2. Gonna need more money though to get that reserve off. Not gonna get there.
Yep. Okay, 70 is where we will leave it. And another custom Mustang, this one from 1967. And this car, Bill, is in that category of options and goodies almost too long to list.
I don't have the time. You might call this Eleanor Light.
Okay.
Has a little bit of that look, but oh man, step back. Give this a little bit of room, folks. 5.4 liter supercharged big block engine. We can only guess what that is putting out for horsepower, but it is a lot. Tremec T56 6-speed manual transmission. Is that a tough tranny? That's the same one they put in the Viper, the second generation Vipers. Yes, sir. A lot of special parts and pieces underneath as well. That suspension's been totally redone. Detroit Speed front suspension, tubular control arms, rack and pinion steering. Hey, I'll get right to it. This is Pro Touring car.
Yeah.
It has everything it needs to qualify for that. Willwood disc brakes, Ride Tech coilovers. And the interior, as you may have seen, all restitched. Excellent job, designed by Tavis Highlander.
I had to laugh when you mentioned the Tremec 6-speed because that manual transmission is the same one that was in that Duesenberg, right?
It could be if it's a T56.
It was.
Okay.
I think so.
It was in that the Duesenberg Viper.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, $500,000. A lot of money, but not what the consignor wanted. And that car's going to need more, yes. We are in Monterey, California. Carmel by the sea, Pacific Grove, the entire area, just a wildlife, nature paradise, and a car lover's paradise as well. As you've come to know by now, we welcome you back to our live coverage here on ESPN Plus, and a 2020 Lamborghini Huracan EVO Spider on the block.
Oh boy, car that rocked the world. Tell you, it came in the tail of the Aventador, and the Huracan was just another evolution of those super high performance cars from Lamborghini. This one was 640 horsepower out of the V10, 5.2 liter, 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. That's a matte treatment on the outside, and it's called Blue Matte Matte, in fact. And Nero Ade yellow and black interior. Tell you, I'm getting much better at being bilingual with some of these cars, having to pronounce some of these colors and interior schemes.
Kudos to you.
Thank you. It's taken some work, but there you go. Fast car. It's a 200-mile-an-hour car, to be sure.
Way so low that we're in trouble at that time.
It's a masterpiece of engineering.
Yeah.
Non-turbo, naturally aspirated. Lamborghini choosing not to put a turbo on the car. Sounds fantastic.
I'm not sure why it's wearing my guy Reggie Miller's 31 number on the rear wing.
Probably a coincidence.
Oh, you think so? Yeah. Well, he needs to have this car then.
Well, after Reggie's career, man, I tell you, he can have anything he wants.
I'll give you a check for $215. At $250, you get 2 1/4. So. Mecum rule 250.
225. Internet last and final call. I don't have bad news. However, $220,000 does not work. Sir, you raise your bid to $250,000. You own the car. $250,000 is what he's looking for. $250,000. That's not that far of a hill to climb, sir. $220 is the current bid. If you want to counter it all, we'll take that as well.
240,000. We got 230.
And Shay, how are we doing? Okay, $220,000 is the current bid. We're looking for $250,000.
You want 230 one time to see what he does?
$250,000. 220 is current bid. 225. Anybody else? I have.
He's pretty firm, and apparently the consignor is as well, Bill.
220,000 is the current bid.
He's coming.
Have a conversation. 225,000.
I think Frank Mecum. Yeah, there's Frank.
We ain't going anywhere.
I'll get with you here in just a bit. Cut. Thank you. Cut.
Not yet, anyway. Okay. You got $220,000. I believe I'm going to close the bid at $220,000.
$220 it is. That gentleman may have a little bit of a counter plan, perhaps. So we'll see what happens. So 220 is where we leave it on the mat, and we check in with Chris Jacobs.
Thanks, Scott. Well, if you were at the 2023 SEMA show or have been around the car show circuit in the past 18 months or so, you probably saw this. This is known as Twisted 67 GTO. It was designed and built by my friend Sean Smith and Steve Aguilar, and it is absolutely spectacular. Riding on a Roadster Shop chassis powered by an LS7. Over $1 million into this build, and it shows. And if you've seen this car in person before, you probably stopped and took a good long look at it because there are so many details on it. Nothing was overlooked. It's absolute perfection. I just saw Steve standing next to the car. I said, man, why are you selling? He's like, well, I'm working on something else. So true car guy, true car builder right there. He's on to his next project, so he's going to let this one go into the hands of probably a very astute collector, because you are going to be getting your money's worth on this one, Scott.
Yes, indeed, Chris. That is just behind the bleachers here, headed for our block in a matter of moments. On the block is a 2015 SLS AMG GT Final Edition.
Yeah, one of 10 of the 2015 Final Edition Roadsters produced. And the final year production for the SLS AMGs, 583 horsepower, 6.3 liter V8. That's the hardware. And as an engineer, Steve Matchett, you certainly must look at a car like this and admire what Mercedes-Benz has created.
They're incredible at what they do. You know, I am very closely linked to Ferrari, as you know, but everyone is always looking at what everybody else is doing. And when you look at what Mercedes have done with their engineering, it's phenomenal how well thought out everything is. And A to B to C to D around the engine compartment, everything is just perfectly positioned. It shows in this.
Oh, big time.
High bid on that 2015 Mercedes-Benz, $250,000. 2018 Challenger SRT Demon was an instant hit, an instant collectible when it hit the market for 2018, and has not lost much of that buzz, Bill, at $77,000 right now.
Oh my, rewrote the rules for factory hot rods back in 2018, no doubt about it. Limited production, we got 3,000, Canada got 300. And they probably still haven't forgiven us for that, but this was a car that we still love to see. You know, it made headlines everywhere. First American production car that would carry the front wheels. Just can't get over that.
Yeah.
NHRA said, hey, you want to race these? You got to put a roll bar in it. It's going too fast. So people did. And this became part of that whole factory showdown in the NHRA with all of those factory-built high-performance cars, the Mustangs and the Camaros.
Yeah, Dodge promptly turned that into an ad campaign and said, we're banned.
Yes.
NHRA banned us.
Talk about making lemonade out of lemons, right?
Yes, yeah, I think they overstated it just a little bit, but it worked.
This one here gavels for $79,000. Just a touch over 5,000 miles on this car,
Yeah,
too.
that's
So
it.
it's been driven a little bit. That's
Yep.
okay.
That's just broken in.
Yes.
That's it, you know, just get all the internals all ready for real work.
Okay, 2021 Mercedes-Benz AMG GT Black Series P1 edition.
Yeah, this is a serious sports car. We had one a little while ago, a Black Series, so we know about the engine, the 4-liter, 720 horsepower V8, a serious engine with dry sump lubrication. Now, dry sump lubrication, let me just digress for a second, came along in the original 1954 Mercedes 300 SL. That was the first production car to offer dry sump lubrication, so we see it now in 2021 in this car.
The purpose, of course, Bill, right, was to allow the engine to sit a little bit lower. So you
Lower
had
center
the
of gravity. Yep.
oil pan was external.
In fact, the engine in that car was tilted at an angle a little bit, and that helped to lower the center of gravity as well. But this has all the extras in it. I mean, I go right down the line here. Inside, outside, underneath. All the stuff you really want in a high-performance, high-end sports car. And all those little Mercedes logos on that car, those are not decals, that's not vinyl, those are painted on the car. And just kind of think of how many hours went into that.
And that's a nod to the F1 cars that Mercedes would run. Had that same livery, yeah.
$620,000. That puts it in a solid P2 for the P1. As far as our top sellers are concerned today, that's a 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Top speed, 202 mile an hour car.
11 seconds and a quarter mile. Hello.
Let's go ahead and check out a 1932 Highboy Custom now, selling at no reserve.
Yeah, and this one built just the way it would have been built 70 years ago. This does not have some of the modern upgrades that you might see on some of these builds where a little liberty is taken. But there you see that small block Chevrolet engine, which how many hot rods are powered by that power plant. 3-speed automatic transmission. And the Highboy body style as the body sits on top of the frame rails. You see the aftermarket wheels, the slotted mags with the 3-eared knockoffs in the yellow color with a contrasting black interior. Not a big money build at all, but it certainly looks like it could be because of the detailing on it. Selling at no reserve, and we may getting close right now, believe it or not.
Last call. All right, you're in.
Hey, give me 29. Give me 29.
Oh, he said no. You got it. 28.
All right.
Here, lot S, 67, a 1960 Corvette.
Well bought, little 32 Ford Highboy. Can't go wrong.
Never go out of style. Will be welcomed at any hot rod run in the world. People love them.
1960 Fuelie Corvette is up next, and Bill,
yes,
looks quite original from this angle. Tell me more.
How did you come up with that? You're 25 feet away from that car, and you are exactly right.
Really?
Yes. This is
excellent.
An Antique Automobile Club of America Junior, Senior, and Grand National Award winner. That's original. Also a Preservation Award, and that won that 3 years running. Highly original paint and equipment. The Fuelie 283. Oh yeah. Yeah, Scott, you nailed this.
I did not cheat, by the way.
No.
I did not look at your sheet.
No, and
quick identifier in the interior there as we pulled away from the passenger side. The red and the blue bars above and below the grab bar is a 1960 indicator. Those were not present on the 59s. So for those little detail-oriented people like myself, that's an easy way to see from the interior.
Very difficult to tell a 59 from a 60. That's one of just a handful of ways to do it. They were just so close in every way.
Look at that, 125.
Yeah, and the awards that this car has garnered has a lot to do with that. You know, when the AACA gives you so many awards in different years, this is a car that has held up.
And they don't pass those out just like, you know, the program at the concert.
It is fierce, the competition for these awards. Some people spend thousands to get the car prepared for those contests.
150. 150. 150,000. Anybody else? Now 60. Now 160.
Now 160.
150. He's getting weak on me.
155.
I got 150. 160. Count it all.
This is strong money.
For a 60, yes, sir.
There he goes. What I'm talking about, 150.
We'll see 57s go that high, 62s. Many times a 60, yes, that is very fat. For
That's often an overlooked member of the C1 generation, isn't it?
Many times, yes, it is.
Okay, let's move on to a pair of Demons.
Are they original? Can you tell?
Very close to it.
This is something that Dodge did, as I said in my preview. If you had bought the 2018 Demon from the factory, you could get the same VIN on the 2023. Getting a look at that supercharged 6.2 liter that was under the hood back then and still is, making 840 horsepower. Just nutty numbers at that time. And take a look at this. I've never actually seen one displayed like this. Those are the skinny front tires that you get inside the Demon crate. The idea was you put the skinny ones on the front, you shred the back ones at the track, and then you put the ones that you took off the front on the back, and then you drive it home. So you were able to get that real drag look. And I'm wondering, seeing it in person now, if that's the reason that they went with the narrow body on the 2023 Demon, because it does look a little funky when it's got the skinny tires on the front with the wide body.
Yeah, they don't fill up the wheel wells. And the drag racers call those wheels front runners. Those narrow tires in the front, basically to reduce rolling resistance for the car, which might pick up a little bit of speed and lower your elapsed time a little bit.
Yeah, well, Dodge is very proud of the fact that this car actually got those front wheels off the ground with that stock power, and we witnessed that in New York when this car was debuted in 2018. Now moving on to the 23, which is the D170, and they pushed all their chips in on this one. 1,025 horsepower coming out of that engine with that bigger throttle body on there. And this car is just an absolute beast. I mean, this looks like a modern day dragster, and that's what Dodge intended.
Keep in mind, the number that you're seeing on your screen is the bid for both cars.
Yes. Yep. So, you know, so far it's a definite bargain. Both done in B5 Blue, both sunroof cars, both have that matte over the top, slightly different spoiler designs from 2018 to 2023.
Right.
I understand. What's that? I said I had 350. Yeah, I know, but I can. You want a net 250? That would be nice for me to be able to take home. Check home. Check home. Well, all I got is 260. I know. So I can net you 250. That's too low. That's higher.
We've got a closed current bid at $260,000.
Well, I think the consignor
290.
would love to have more.
$290,000, you own the pair. You're not getting the blue one, you're getting both of them. Serge, like to give $290,000, raise your bid. We are not far away on this deal. Current bid's $260. I need you to raise your bid $290,000.
I'm trying to spend your money.
$290. Like a cent in the bucket what you did earlier.
About 270.
You know,
split in the middle somewhere.
Okay. $290. See how done next to $260,000. I'm going to close bid at $260,000.
Hey, buddy. Thank you.
Up next on the block now, showing his
All right, so the high bid will wind up at 260 with kind of a 290 grand target, I think. So they'll both go to the bid goes on. And we will investigate some of the details and relay them to you on a 2011 Porsche 911 GT3 RS.
Well, we had the GT2 RS earlier, and that went for big, big money. I expect this one, and look at it go already. I mean, it's crazy what these cars are worth. This is a 2011 version GT3 RS, 4-liter, flat six, 6-speed manual, and this car's got a lot of goodies as well, Bill.
500 horsepower, 500 goodies out of that flat six, in fact. Dry sump, as we were just talking about, with an external oil tank. Boy, that's a competition setup if you ever saw one. Lightweight parts in that motor, titanium connecting rods. Transmission is a 6-speed manual, 3-pedal, 6-speed manual. No hocus pocus there. Carbon package, leather interior, beautiful black and red stitching. Alcantara storage lid, plush everywhere in the car. But this is a muscle man. You know, this is no prom queen. This is a serious, out of the way, folks, Porsche.
Really cool decal package on there too, with the big Porsche script on top of the wing that's front facing. So when the deck lid is up, you can read that very nicely over the roof of this car. I mean, once again, Porsche just nailed this. It's amazing that this car is from so long ago. Wow. You know, 2011, it looks like it could be on the showroom floor today.
No doubt, man.
14 years ago, too, and this had active suspension. If you don't know what that is, active suspension is an amazing electronic aid, Steve Matchett, that anticipates the road surface.
How technology has moved in leaps and bounds, really, particularly in suspension over the last few years. Yeah, I mean, Formula One was using active suspension back in the 90s, 91, 2, 3, banned for 94. But the road car manufacturers are never going to let that information go. So they just keep working on it and working on it. And then when they're happy with it, oh, they'll put it onto a road car. In Porsche's case, not from Formula One, but that technology always carries over. But they are so sophisticated, so advanced in what they can do these days.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, we've kind of been parked at 950 for a few minutes. There you see it rolling right in front of us. Bill, our location here.
925, Trev. I think he took us at 950. We were at 925, correct? 925.
He's got 9.
That's a little course correction here on the high bidder at 925 instead of 950.
Sorry about that, a little confusion.
Boy, this blacked out treatment, paint, interior wheels.
Isn't that spectacular?
I always describe that as the official courtesy car of the Valley of the Shadow of Death.
Well, I don't know about you, CJ. I have been driving on the freeway in Los Angeles a couple of times and been blown away by a GT3 RS in the fast lane before I could even almost tell what it was.
You know, it's the performance aspect of these cars and how well they're made that when you're doing triple digits, you feel like you're doing the speed limit.
Exactly.
It's just so solid. It's so hard to keep your foot out of the accelerator.
Exactly.
930 is the current bid, $940,000.
I mean, it was just a blur, a beautiful blur, man.
Okay. All right. Thank you. But
it is.
Nope.
930. 940. Okay. 930.
Well, we are so close.
Yeah, we are.
$1 million maybe.
930. $940,000 bid. 930's current bid. 940. 940. 930. If it get 40. If it get 40. If it get 940,000. If it get 930. If it get 940.
You literally feel the pressure amping up in the last minute or so as the consignor is considering should he lift the reserve and the buyer, oh, should I go one more bid? That's the beauty of these auctions.
You never know.
Okay, $930,000. So we will, if there is action on that after the fact, we'll let you know about it. In the meantime, we will come back with this 1959 300 SL. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Mecum Monterey. We've hit the halfway point of our final day here. Another 2 hours live to go, streaming here on ESPN+. If variety is the spice of life, it is also the key term today because we've got a little bit of everything that's going to cross the block. That was a 1952 Mercedes Cabriolet that's heading inside the big tent to cross the block. We have a beautifully restored 1973 Ford Bronco here. We have a Fairlane to my right, and one of my favorites is going to cross the block block soon. 1987 Pantera GT5. Scott Hoke, something for everybody coming your way here and staging in just a little bit. A beautiful lineup here at Monterey.
Oh, you said it, Danielle. If you like the 300 SLs, we've got you covered here. The current bid at $1.3 million on this 59 300 SL Roadster.
Yep, it's the topless version of the Gullwing Coupe here. In 1959, they built these between 57 and 63. Interesting that in 57, Mercedes kind of made a gradual transition from the Gullwing Coupe to the Roadster. For a short time, they were building both. Has that 3-liter inline 6, and this one, 4-speed manual with the independent suspension and all of the other extras that these cars are famous for.
And the reserve is off, and we have a new top seller for the time being and a new member of the $1 million club. There it is, official, $1.35 million.
Could we have some applause? Thank you so much.
Those are spectacular cars.
Yep, especially in that condition. What a restoration.
Yes.
Anthracite paint, the black interior, the chrome wheels.
And just so you know, we have a 57 Gullwing coming up a bit later. While we were in the break, check this out. 2021 McLaren GT in Glacier White. That's a $4,500 paint option with a 612 horsepower, 4-liter V8. Gavelled for $150,000. That glass roof, that's a $6,000 option. Lots of others as well, and a beautiful car it is at $150,000 here at Monterey. Well, a few years after that 300 SL, we were talking about the 280 SL class, and here's a prime example of that from 1970, Bill.
What a series of cars from Mercedes, the 190s, 230s, 280s. And boy, the market on these cars just keeps showing more and more excitement. Every time we come to Monterey, we'll get one of these cars, and it seems like the market just gets hotter and hotter. This is the 280 inline 6, 2.8 liter, automatic transmission, such refinement and such beautiful engineering and kind of a delicate sort of, well, almost you might even say a low-key, kind of a low-flame persona on these cars. Not built for performance or racing or, track duty. Just a beautiful Grand Touring car that, again, at $200,000, the reserve comes off. This market it just refuses to get soft.
And even $200,000. What a beautiful car. So back-to-back Mercedes-Benz have found new homes. We are back live in Monterey on ESPN Plus, looking at big money on a 68 GT500 KR Bill Stevens that just gavelled at a very strong $230,000.
Oh my, in the spring of 1968, Shelby decided to put that Cobra Jet engine in the GT500, thus the GT500 KR. This one, what would you change? A 4-speed convertible in red with 10-spoke Shelby mag wheels. Just ideal.
Once again, 230 buys it. A heavy hitter, to be sure. It was a 1954 Sunbeam Alpine Mark I Roadster.
Yeah, you say Sunbeam, and a lot of people think that the Sunbeam Tiger was the first time that Sunbeam ever was producing automobiles, but no, the Sunbeam Alpine predated that. Of course, the later model Alpine served as the platform for the Sunbeam Tiger. This has hand-built coachwork by Thrupp and Maberly. This has been restored to the nines. That sapphire blue under the hood is an inline 4-cylinder, 2.2 liter with a column-shifted 4-speed transmission. This car was once owned by David Letterman, a pretty accomplished collector in his own right, and that certainly would explain the 6-figure bidding. That's where we are right now.
He had a TV show too, didn't he?
Yeah, but it was after my bedtime.
Oh. I know that's not true.
Yeah, you're right.
We're both big Letterman fans. Of course, Grew up in Indianapolis.
Yep. Owns an IndyCar team with Bobby Rahal, so he's a car guy.
125, 130.
Let's give a tip of the hat to Peters Marina Motors of Venice, California, that did the frame-off restoration on the car, and it was a complete restoration.
150,000, 150 bid, anybody get 50, 60, 160,000, 170,000, 180. I have 170 bid, 180,000, anybody get 180, $180,000, 180,
wow.
90, 180, 90, 200,
Who would have thought? Not a car we often see. In fact, I'm trying to recall if we've ever seen one.
210.
Hey, 210.
200 bid, anybody get 10 bid, anybody get 210. How about you, sir? You want back in for $210,000? Sold. $200,000, Jared Collier.
Now I'll bring out 76.
Oh,
52
my
Mercedes.
goodness. Well, 2 in a row. Strong money on that KR and 200 bills on this one.
Yep.
Wow.
Two cars that could not be any further apart on the collector car spectrum.
Exactly right. But that kind of thing happens when you're in Monterey, California. Here's a 1952 Mercedes-Benz 220B Cabriolet, and we're at 6 figures on this car.
Yeah, they had a short production run on these cars, built between 1951 and 1954, so this is a tweener. 994 altogether were built. Power, nothing too remarkable, a 2.2-liter inline-6. 4-speed column shifted manual transmission, but it is the restoration and the fit and the finish on the car right here that is definitely off the charts. Did have to replace the convertible top about 5 years ago. That was part of the restoration process that was done gradually. Has the matching luggage set as well, and the original toolkit.
110. Don't bid on it unless you're serious. 110. 100's a bid. 110. And you look like a serious kind of guy. 110. 100's a bid. 110. Is he going to bid? Sit down and bid. 110,000. Close the bid at $100,000. Close the bid, and the bid goes on.
Now I'll bring out 77.
Well, 100,000 won't take care of that Mercedes-Benz. So it'll have another opportunity as the bid goes on. In the meantime, a 1965 Mustang is rolling into place, and I see the GT350 along the rocker panel there, Bill Stevens, but that tells me that this is a high-end GT350 replica.
Oh, it's a high-end replica for a GT350. Yes, very much so. But I want everybody to climb on my creeper because we're going to slide underneath this now because I want to show you the detailing beneath this 65 Ford. And that is as immaculate as the top of the car. Good look there at the frame, the exhaust, suspension. There you see the rear end. Look at the differential color cover there. That is spotless. And the exhaust system looks like it's been polished and waxed as well.
$80,000 is the current bid. That undercarriage look, with thanks to our new sponsor, one of our new sponsors, RealGarageLife.com. They feature advantage lifts, so you can actually get the car up in the air and take a good look at it and keep your undercarriage looking that good.
Yeah.
Backyard Buddy, much more. All kinds of gear for your entire garage, even if you don't need a lift, actually. So check out RealGarageLife.com.
Plenty of power in this Mustang, Scott. All those Renegades over there at Aldridge Motorsports built that 347 cubic inch stroker that puts out 450 horsepower now. A lot of Ford Racing aftermarket parts. Crane, Roush provided the roller camshaft and rockers. Big power, big money, big sale. Hello.
90 grand it is. And with that hammer, we send it over to Chris Jacobs.
Well, it's got 23 Porsches are crossing the block today, and this is probably the most anticipated one. This is the Porsche ST, created to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the 911. They only made 1,963 of them, and they've only just started popping up on the aftermarket. In fact, this is only the 4th one that I know about that is offered as a private sale. All the allocations sold out immediately, of course. Why? This is the perfect hybrid of the GT3 RS and the GT3 Touring, featuring that 4-liter naturally aspirated flat six, backed up, most importantly, by a 6-speed manual transmission. I had the chance to drive one of these at Porsche Parade in Oklahoma City, and it is sublime. The power, the comfort, the perfect balance. This one done in shore blue with those Ceramica wheels, center lock, staggered, 20s in front, 21s in the rear. Oh, I could go on, and I probably will when it's up on the block very soon, Scott.
And we will turn you loose, CJ. No question about that. It's coming up. Hey, we've got to take care of a little business here with a 69 L88, Bill Stevens, the reserve off at $120.
Yep, final year for the L88. They only made 116 of them that year. This one, of course, the 430 rated 427 V8 with a Muncie 4-speed. And it is a black L88 with a beautiful saddle interior. Not the numbers matching engine, but the engine was date coded just a few months after the car was built. Not much harm there. And a date coded M22 Rock Crusher 4-speed. And it just sold seconds ago.
Well, we moved from the L88 to the SF90. And in Ferrari speak, Steve Matchett, Scuderia Ferrari 90.
Exquisite piece of machinery, Scott. Remember, the SF90 was built to celebrate the 90th anniversary of Scuderia Ferrari, the racing organization of the Ferrari empire, not the road car industry. So keep that in mind. This is a 2025, the Spider version. I just saw the owner just operate it so we could put the roof down, so it now becomes the Spider version. It's just seamless operation. 1,000 horsepower at the driver's command. It's just stunning.
630, 40,
You know, it's so hard sometimes to determine what's standard and what's optional in a late model Ferrari because the list is almost endless.
You can tell that, you know, you had road car engineers and race car engineers, and they've both been talking to each other. What can you put on this car? What can we borrow from you guys? Put the traction control on the car. Put the automatic suspension on the car. The car almost thinks for itself, quite frankly.
Yeah. Of course, lightweight components.
Yep.
Titanium, carbon fiber.
Post bid $640,000.
All of those.
Hybrid technology. Got electric motors on the front wheels as well, which will take control. If the front starts to give up on you, the electronics will step in and save you. This car wants to be driven, but it wants to be driven hard.
These cars make the Enzo look quaint now in comparison.
Well, there's still some room on that car because it's headed toward bid goes on at $640,000. And next is a 1953 MG TD Roadster.
T-Series MG. As we always like to say, these cars helped to educate America to what two-seat sports motoring was all about in the post-war years. This one with a 1250cc inline 4-cylinder engines. These are not particularly powerful or fast, but remember, people in this country were used to driving mastodons at this particular time in history. And to have a car, you put the top down, you know, you have that open-air motoring experience, and you had a little car that was not only economical, but could go around corners.
Nimble.
Yep.
But the approach on the opposite side of the Atlantic was we've got to make everything light. We haven't got any materials left. The war's taken everything.
Right, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, a very, very manageable $15,000 is all it took to buy that little MG. Very cool. 1964. Oh, the stately, regal appearance of this Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 3 Saloon.
When I said running out of materials and we had no option, that doesn't apply to what these guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, by 1964, maybe the post-war famine had maybe passed. I don't know, but you know,
nobody told them about it.
I'm going to guess that in 1964, you were a young man, a teenager, whatever. What was it like?
Bill, I was 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was never good at math. What was it like to be a kid in England and to see a car like this roll by?
You knew it was stately, right?
Yeah.
You get purred by the streets. It purred by.
And you maybe thought someday,
maybe,
Yeah.
And there was all these wonderful stories that Rolls-Royce never broke down, and if they did, the factory would just come and take it away.
Yeah, right. Well, this was a final generation Silver Cloud car right here. And, of course, all the luxury, all of the opulence any automobile could offer.
This is an interesting thought, Steve, considering the size of this vehicle and the narrow nature of many of the roads in the UK, right? It's not an easy car to get around in, perhaps.
The little MGs, they were designed for the country roads, country lanes. These guys, the Rolls-Royce, drive them in town.
You want to lift the reserve at 80?
There's somebody else in the room. It's you versus a guy in the room. There's the bid's currently 90,000. Would you like to try 95?
$100,000.
The reserve's still on. We're working to get the reserve off. We have the seller in front of us right now. Sure. You want to bid 95?
Danielle, do I have you in it?
95.
95. Thank you for clearing that up for me. Now 100. 95 bid, you make 100,000. Reserves off. I have 95 bid, 100 bid, 100,000.
Well, the reserve is off. Our phone bidder in the upper left with Daniel Hatchett. It looks like he is going to buy that car for $95,000.
64 Ford Fairlane 500 hardtop. Professional custom built. That's Coyote V8.
Okay, 1964 Ford Fairlane 500.
Well, the guys out at American Speed Company, they're in Wayne City, Michigan, not far from the Motor City. They should take a bow on this build, this 64 Fairlane. Before we get to the hardware, let's go underneath. Another one of those cars where I really like to show you just what that setup looks like. How about that? The rear suspension with that sway bar, lateral sway bar, the coilover shocks, and everything just spotless, germ-free practically. There you see another shot. Suspension, exhaust system, and just a hint of what the bottom of that motor looks like. Great work there, fellas, out at American Speed. Okay, power-wise, 5-liter Coyote, 600 horsepower. Hey, there's that Tremec T56 6-speed manual transmission again. And a Roadster shop, fast track, square rail chassis that you just got a quick look at.
Okay, $130,000, and the bid goes on the Fairlane. I want to tell you about what you need to do to keep your car looking its absolute best, and do I have a combo for you? Talking about 303 and their protectant and their interior cleaner. It will provide terrific protection. The interior cleaner will take care of any surface without leaving residue. And meantime, the protectant will keep your plastic, rubber, and vinyl surfaces from those harsh UV rays and keep them looking new. You can find out more at 303mecum.com. 303 is proven to protect.
That interior cleaner smells so good.
It does.
I love it.
It does.
You don't need a little pine tree with when you do the inside of your car with that.
Okay. You are correct on that note as well. 62 Corvette Fuelie. We had a 1960 that brought good money a little while ago, Bill.
Yeah, these are the ones probably on the collector's list of must-have C1 Corvettes. The 62 Fuelie, probably right up there. This is the year they went to the 327 in the Corvette, and the fuel-injected engines went way up to 360 horsepower. 4-speed manual, very popular color in the Corvette, the Roman red with a red interior and a hardtop, as you see right there, that goes with the car. No, don't close it. I think we're getting close. Oh. How did I know that? That's fair money for a car.
So 75.
And 75 buys it. You are correct. All right, so put that one in the sold column as well. Haven't seen a lot of these in Monterey. And it was just a matter of time, I think, until one showed up. It's a 73 custom Bronco.
Oh, this is your full tilt boogie Ford Bronco Custom. Wow, body off restoration, all kinds of upgrades. Power, it's from a 5-liter with GT40 aluminum intake manifold, 4R70W automatic transmission with a Borg Warner 2-speed transfer case. And I'm going to keep going. 2.5-inch custom suspension lift with a 1-inch body lift, Hydratech 4-wheel disc brake system. Look at the hood scoop on that. I'm trying to think where that's from a Shelby. That's a Shelby style split hood scoop on the front there. Not directly from a Shelby, but that style of scoop. Okay? I'm not done yet. Custom console with hidden kill switches inside, has anti-theft devices, leather interior with rear seating, J&L subwoofer, 4-channel amplifier, big sound, premium sound, custom roll cage, and $90,000? No way. Can't do it for 90. I'm sorry.
92. On it, on it. Close fit at 90
Yeah.
pounds, and if it goes on at 90.
Just
Okay.
too much work in that Bronco.
Keep naming some options, and maybe we'll get the bidding to go up.
Sure, painless wiring harness, Polk audio forward speakers. I'm telling you.
It's loaded, man.
It's loaded.
It really is. Okay, high bid, as you said, at 90. And Di Tommaso Pantera GT5S from 1987.
1987 Pantera. But wait, Bill, they cry. We didn't see Panteras at Lincoln Mercury dealers until the early 70s, maybe 1972. Well, this is an 87 that takes us way beyond that, which means that they were building these cars for quite a while. Now, we didn't get them in this country that whole time, and this one is built to U.S. spec. And the GT5, that's the real trick, Pantera, with, you know, the wing and the flares and all of the real racer boy kind of things.
I think if the interior was black, Darth Vader might pull out his bidder's badge.
Yeah.
This thing is just wicked.
It has got the demonic look for sure.
The interior color, they describe it as butter. Butter. Butter.
It's buttery,
Yes.
that's for sure. Soft Corinthian leather, as Ricardo Montalban used to say.
Yeah.
$150,000.
Just
That's
short.
Wow. High bid.
No reserve.
Okay, everybody, heads up, pay attention, because we have a 58 Pontiac Bonneville convertible coming up here, ladies and gentlemen, that's selling at no reserve.
And whenever we see one of these cars, they are always restored and presented in just a phenomenal level, and this one is no exception. Just over 3,000 of these were produced in 1958. We've talked about Bunky Knudsen and his influence on Pontiac back in the late 1950s. He came in to run the division in 1955, wanted to give Pontiac a much more high-end and much more scintillating image, and boy, did he ever do it. The Bonneville convertible that you're looking at right now has the tri-power, the 2-barrel carbureted 370. And in 1957, there were fuel-injected units on top of those engines because of Bunky. And, boy, almost overnight, he really made these cars much more than they had been. Power steering, power brakes, leather interior, a power convertible top. Not every convertible back in the 50s had a power-operated top. And there you see the Continental deck in the back with a big chrome-trimmed spare tire. 1959, boy, the excitement continued with Pontiac. And then not long thereafter, we get into the Super Duties and what have you. And boy, what a big turnaround for Pontiac. And this one sells for for just short of 6 figures, Scott.
Yep, 90 grand. Well, we've had several different classes of Mercedes-Benz here so far. We'll have more. This is a 280 SE convertible now from 1969.
No reserved 6-digit car. You watch what happens on this one. Opens at $80,000. We've had fixed roof versions of these cars come through. The convertible certainly selling at a premium. 2.8 liter inline 6 with mechanical fuel injection from Bosch with an automatic transmission. You see underneath there in highly original condition, which to a lot of people is the way they want them. Want them, you know, pretty much in the way that the car would have looked in its real life use with a number of owners.
And you see some of that wood paneling there on the dash, just some of that beautiful charm. And quintessential California. I got to sit in this car yesterday, guys, underneath the beautiful California sun. Just feels like you'd want to cruise down the PCH in this beauty, right?
Yeah, we saw you in that car, Danielle, and boy, if that wasn't a perfect fit, I don't know what was.
Well, someone just took it from me, Bill, so.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Slipped through my fingers.
95 was the sale price.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that that's a bargain. Thought maybe to make 6 figures, got close, but no, good for whoever just bought it.
1957 Fairlane 500 Skyliner, and here we go. The show is begun here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, every set of eyes in the room right now on the car is that convertible top, hard top convertible as we used to call it, will now retract into the back of the car underneath that power operated trunk, if you will, although it's more a storage area for the top. The trunk, there's just a little kind of little plastic bin in the back, and that suffices for a trunk in these cars.
Boy, I tell you, in 1957, that's like the 8th wonder of the world, you know?
Indeed. This was the top of the line convertible for Ford in 1957. Chevy, Chrysler had nothing like that to offer people. And this is one of the reasons why Ford outsold Chevrolet in 1957. Not by a lot, but they did it. Got the 312 cubic inch Y block in there with an automatic transmission. The dashboard was signed by Ben Smith, who along with the group The Whiz Kids is credited for designing that retractable hardtop.
Bill, I just had to stand by the car when the hardtop was being pulled down. I mean, it's a work of art, isn't it?
And for a guy like you with a background in engineering,
it's worth the price of admission just to see that.
Motors, servos, micro switches, so many components go into it. I think there's 600 feet of wire.
Is that right?
That makes up that whole contraption.
And 7 different motors just for that retractable.
It's a beautiful thing, right?
Okay, so let's move from the Fairlane, the Skyliner, to the 1967 Custom GTO, aka Twisted, and we'll start at 150.
And that is not going to be where we end. Trust me, this car is known all over the country by so many people. Appeared at the SEMA show, as Chris pointed out a little bit earlier. Supercharged 427 Dart V8 engine. That is an aftermarket racing engine with a 2.9 liter Whipple supercharger, 4L80E automatic transmission. Everything in the car is non-OEM. I mean, to tell you, that has gotten a piece by piece and part by part complete rebuild. Look at the plush leather interior. Man, oh man. It's been lowered right. Underneath, frame, chassis, smooth, finished, painted. ARP, chassis hardware, all carefully applied and not a scratch underneath the car, trust me. 2-inch headers, 3-inch stainless exhaust. Carbon fiber drive shaft. How much do you think that cost? 4-wheel Bayer, big brakes,
I'm right at the
all the way around. Just breathtaking, really is.
Yeah, Bill, this really is the ultimate 67 GTO. This car has just become so famous on the car show circuit. Multiple award winner at SEMA, at Good Guys, at Grand National Roadster Show. Made the Elite 10 at the, what was that last show down there in Tennessee that they do? The Hot Rodders show.
Good guys?
Triple Crown of Rotting.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
It's Bobby Alloway's show that he created about 3 years ago.
I know
yeah.
Bobby, yeah. I would say, if I may, that is a full custom frame up build that just happens to have a GTO body on it.
I mean, pretty much.
You
Yeah.
know?
Just if the only thing that makes it a GTO is the shape of the car. Everything has been touched.
Yes.
Everything.
Wow, we are over $500,000, as you can see.
You couldn't even build half this car for that much.
No, and we see that so many times with the build total is really not reached by the car when it finally comes to the auction, and everybody understands it, everybody appreciates it. There's no mystery there.
Reserves off. You take the
No! Okay, let it keep going. Let it keep going.
Now we're at 600, and
take it home.
the consignor said, nope, we're not taking the reserve off just yet.
I understand. You've done these builds before, and you understand it's the law of half. You get half what you put in.
I get half. We're done.
Frank just said
$550 to you.
basically what I did.
I'll cut my commission. I'll give you $550.
Cost maybe 50% more than what it sells for.
And that is Steve Aguilar right there, the gentleman who built this car, Sean Smith design, and they just crushed it. Just an unbelievable build.
You just said 6.
So give me.
No. Mecum rule 650.
Okay. Sir, 600 is a very generous offer. However, it's not quite enough. You raise your bid to 650,000. I could drop the hammer. No, don't shake your head that way yet. 650, I'll drop the hammer. Nobody else bid. I got a guy on the phone waiting. So you raise your bid to 650.
He's
I can
waiting
sell
on
it
the
to you.
weekends.
Raise your bid to $650,000, sir. Give it to
Tell you what, hey, give me a quarter.
$650,000, sir.
Hey, give 625, and I won't ask you again. 625, don't give 650, 625.
$650,000, just do it.
Give 25,
Give
625.
650,000.
625, one time. 625.
We're the highest bid right now.
I know you are.
They want it or they don't. I ain't got to go nowhere.
625.
Yeah, what else? 600. What do you want to raise your bid to 625? I'm sure you're already asking.
Already
that.
been there, buddy.
I'll do 610.
Hey!
What?
It's not 25, but it is 610.
610. 620.
Okay.
Everybody else can
See
still
what
bid.
that does.
I got 610, 620, 610, 120, 120,
All right, by 60.
There we go.
620,000, 610, you're all done. Last call, 620. So, 610,000.
Okay. They are happy about that one. Boy, he was dug in for a second and then said, you know what, let's do 610, and it worked.
He was committed on that number, but I'll tell you what, if that gentleman did not raise his bid, no big deal, because he can get another car just like that in a million years.
Yes. Exactly. $610,000 for that twisted GTO. All right, let's move on. 1968 Ferrari 330 GTC, Steve Matchett. This was your car at the beginning of our program.
Beautiful car, very significant to Ferrari. It is the Colombo engine, the two-cam engine. You can tell that because it has the big cam covers. That black crackle cover indicates that it's a two-cam engine. It's an upgrade from the 250. This is the first time really when Enzo Ferrari finally said, all right, we'll give you something comfortable. You want leather seats, we'll put leather seats in it for you. You want to be able to hear the radio, we'll try and make that work for you too. But it's significant because this is the car that made Ferrari become a luxury car brand as opposed to a company that was selling old race cars.
Absolutely. You know, when you look at this car and you think about other Ferraris that had no racing pretensions, the Super America,
right.
The Lusso series, the luxury Ferraris, that was a turning point for Ferrari.
Absolutely was. And again, there's that quote, this is probably the first Ferrari where you can hear the radio.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, that's another one. A big money Ferrari here at Mecum Monterey. There will be more to come, I guarantee you that. No reserve on a 1960 Imperial Crown convertible.
Nowhere on this car will you see the word Chrysler. Imperial was the name of the car, as Chrysler wanted to separate these cars from their other automobiles and put it in a strata that was much higher than anything else that you could buy from them. This has had a rebuilt wedgehead 413. It has been putting out 350 horsepower from the factory. One of 618 convertibles produced that year, so you know they're pretty rare, right? Out of the box. Antique Automobile Club of America Senior Grand National Award winner, and several other Best of Show awards as well. And there is no mystery why, as you get a good look at that car as it's being pushed off. Torque Flight automatic. Color is regal red with brand new white leather stitching the interior with those swivel seats in the front that became kind of a novelty actually for those Chryslers back in the day.
Okay, 135,000 and no reserve. That'll do the trick. Okay, the very eagerly anticipated by myself, by Chris Jacobs, who is right there with the car, and by many others in this building, a 2024 911 ST.
If I'm dreaming, do not wake me. This is, right now, this is the pinnacle of what is available from Porsche. They nailed it with this. They got everything in this car that someone would want for performance and for comfort. This car was built to be driven on a tour, essentially. That is the T in ST, and they got everything right. The extended range fuel tank, the comfort. I believe this one has the 18-way seats in it. Just, I mean, it's just so beautiful to look at. My favorite touch is something that they borrowed from the GT3 RS, which is just behind the front wheel here. This little duct is meant to take the air down the side of the car. This is made out of carbon fiber reinforced plastic, as is much of the body panels on the car as well. It takes its hood from the GT3. It's got the carbon fiber roof is on this car. The lightweight flywheel. So much is done to this car in the performance aspect, not just for speed and agility, but also for comfort in the long range.
Right. You know, you did such a great job of describing that automobile. I can only add a couple things. 132 miles on it. Plus, it comes with a $13,500 Porsche design watch with a matching serial number to the car.
So you'll never be late to your flight again.
Never.
This is a Heritage Edition shore blue exterior, and those magnesium wheels are covered in what they're calling ceramica. So special just to the Heritage package on these STs.
And Chris, you pointed this out yesterday, I think, or maybe earlier today, but that rear end treatment, the grille with the anniversary logo and the 911 ST badging as well, just kind of on display for all to see. That is a beautiful touch.
You're correct, and it's got these really cool door puddles too. I don't know if you'd be able to see them, but they say icon of cool heritage design. Also has a 911 ST right here, and on the dash actually tells you what number of the run of 1963 that this car has. So you see that along the rocker panel with the 911 ST, and then up on the dash there, it's etched what number in the run this is.
Nice. I am waiting for Chris Jacobs to burst into flames, man.
I'm about to.
You are. I'm surprised you didn't name your little girl Ceramica, to be honest with you.
She was born in 2022. The car wasn't out yet.
Just missed.
By the way, thank you, Wilfredo, with our camera for getting down there for a couple of good looks, the details of that car. 615 grand. Let's not lose sight of that.
The sticker, Scott, on this car from Porsche was about $330, $335, considering the option packages. So, you know, Porsche, they made you wait a year until you were able to release them to the secondary market.
The reserve is off, and essentially these sold out immediately, right?
immediately. They were allocated to, you know, people who were established Porsche owners.
Right. Okay, that gentleman has established himself as the new owner of that car at $615,000. Well, brother Bill Stevens, what can we say that hasn't been said about the 2006 Ford GT Heritage Edition, except for the fact that they continue to come up in value?
Well, having said that, Scott, let's see how close this comes to the Porsche that we just saw. And already we're at 650. Before I can even get the words out of my mouth, we've done that. Wow. This is the Heritage paint job. Only 343 of these Heritage cars were produced. The odometer reads 377 miles. It's almost, you know, almost redundant to get into the drivetrain of these Ford GTs from 05 and 06. 5.4 liter aluminum, supercharged V8 engine, 550 horsepower, 6-speed manual transaxle, a true 200-mile-an-hour high-end sports car. By the way, this one has been autographed by Camillo Pardo. He's the engineer and the designer of this series of the Ford GT. Macintosh stereo, painted brake calipers, and the lightweight BBS wheels. It doesn't have the stripes to make it the fourth option, but I'll take that Heritage paint job as certainly a fitting substitute.
It's just beautiful, isn't it? That Gulf livery, it's just beautiful. It's timeless. And whatever you put it on, it looks great.
Yes, and you know, it's a fitting punctuation mark to those 2 years that the Ford GT won the 24 Hours of Le Mans underneath John Wyer, because that is the paint scheme. And in fact, the car that won in 1969 was the same tub that won in 1968. That had never been done before. It's great history represented by this car.
810. Got 805 pounds of internet. You're out 810.
805.
810. 805. 810. You're 10. 805 pounds out of bed. 810. 810. Back at it. 5. Back at it. 10. 10. 810 pounds out of bed. 805. Back at it. 810. Back at it. 5. 10. 10. 10. 810. Anybody else? 805 10s. But 805 back at it. 810. Mecum Monterey, Jamie, 900. Raise your bid, $900,000 buys the car. You want to give 9?
Oh, 805 won't work. It takes 900.
You want to give 900? Jamie? 900?
And it's yours. Nobody else can bid.
Or anything in between?
Do 900 if I do it for 10%.
Right quick.
All right.
900.
Advance it all that we can offer and see if he'll do it.
$900,000 on it. 900. Down to back of the day. Down to be 9 to be down to the 900. Good 900 down to bed, down to the 900,000 down to bed, down to the
Well, just waiting on the telephone bidder now.
900,000 down to bed.
You want to offer any more at all? See if we can get him to take it.
Jamie, gotta go.
No.
What do you want to do, Frank? Okay, I got 825.
Oh, is that enough? It appears to be.
825. $850,000 for that Ford
How about
GT.
that? 825. The reserve's off.
Everybody else, 825.
Low mileage, Heritage Edition, pristine condition, Camillo Pardo's autograph. It all adds up.
All right. 825,000. Okay, we're going to move to a little block of cars that has a number of contenders for that $1 million club.
Yeah, this won't be short money for sure.
No. It's a 73 911 Carrera RS 2.7 lightweight. And this is one of the all-time 911s at the top of the desirability list.
Yeah, talk about a car that's dual purpose, street and track. You are looking at it, one of only 200 that were produced with this M471 lightweight configuration. Odometer reads 15,900 kilometers, which would be less miles because a kilometer is smaller than a mile. Reduced weight, well, that was achieved by thinner steel for the body panels, thinner glass for the windows, lighter fiberglass bumpers and racing seats. Air-cooled engine, 210 horse, 5-speed manual gearbox. This was a track car. You drive it on the street, but you know what? You could take it to a track and slap some numbers on the doors, and you know, an SCCA or small bore sports car racing, you could be big man on campus on any given day.
This is one of those long hood series 911s that kind of went away in 1973. And look at this, the reserve comes off at $950,000. There you see how that hood goes right down to the front bumper all the way. $950,000.
975. Last call. 950 to be at 975,000.
Oh, I'm rooting for 7 figures, Bill.
Oh.
$950,000. So, $950,000.
Well, I suppose if we had the commission, maybe we could cheat a little bit, but the hammer price is $950,000.
$950,000. Yep. For that RS 2.7 lightweight. Well, a little bit earlier, I promised you the 300 SL Gullwing Mercedes-Benz from 1957, and it is coming up in just a matter of moments. What an absolute legendary car this is, and we won't have any trouble getting into 6 figures, I don't imagine, or 7 figures, I don't imagine, on that car. It is headed our way. It's in the building, and we'll see it here in a few minutes. Do not go away. In the meantime, a 2008 Porsche 911 GT3 RS in a very similar color it's wearing to the 73 we just saw.
Yes, it's Porsche's interpretation of Go Man Go, I guess you might say.
Or
Very
Hugger
close.
Orange.
You bet. Yeah, only 1,448 miles on the odometer, and it's got that 415 horsepower flat 6 with a 3.6 liter displacement. And once again, we have a mega money Porsche on the Mecum auction block. 6-speed manual transmission, AM/FM CD stereo, but that's really not what's driving the bidding on this car for sure.
I think it got to 380.
I think you're right. It was in the upper 3s, I believe.
And the bid goes on at that number. And so we talk about ultra desirable cars, whether they be Porsches, Mercedes-Benz, or in this case, a Lamborghini Miura from 1969. And we've mentioned it time after time, the car that really put Lamborghini on the performance car map.
Yes, it did. Several different iterations of the Miura. This one is the P400S. And this was the first mid-engine, 2-seat supercar ever to be produced. Now, there had been 2-seat mid-engine cars before this, you know, most notably the Porsche 550 Spider, but this particular car, certainly the first supercar with the kind of performance potential it had with a 3.9 liter, 370 horsepower V12 engine, 5-speed manual transmission. Verde Miura is the name of the color on the outside and a blue interior. Pistachio, that's sometimes called.
And that blue interior, Bill, I've just been having a look as the car was coming to the block. It is absolutely perfect. Attention to detail inside the car and outside the car is phenomenal.
Yeah, and to get the kind of money that it's getting, wow, certainly would bear your point out, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of it. We all have seen a lot of mirrors, seen a lot of restoration on them, but this one looks right. It looks right.
And so does that money.
Yeah.
That visual color combination is just so out there and so striking, isn't it?
It sure is, yeah.
Wow.
Superb car. Superb.
And $1.8 million is our new top seller of the day today. Let's see if that holds. One car that could be a contender to knock that out of the top spot is also coming up. This very early, one of the earliest Ferraris we've seen, 51 Ferrari 212 Export Touring Barchetta Roadster. And Steve, you were talking a little while ago about Ferrari's race history and their touring car history. This goes well back in that touring car lineage, doesn't it?
It sure does. It was at the height of when Enzo Ferrari had figured out, with the help of his engineers, you know, our customer base want to buy our racing success. And Enzo suddenly thought, well, that's a great way of also financing the next race car, isn't it? Let's do that.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That car will be coming up in just a few moments. A perfect little touring Ferrari for the lady and the gentleman. In the meantime, 1969 Ford IndyCar is on the block right now.
Yeah, this is a Vels Parnelli Jones car, the VPJ Ford IndyCar. And Scott, you're probably as qualified as anybody to talk about the history of this car and how important it was to Parnelli Jones and, of course, some of the people that drove it.
It just sold for $175,000. Yeah, Al Unser drove this car, 4-time Indy 500 winner. This was the first season for Vels Parnelli Jones Racing. Joe Leonard drove it. George Bignotti turned the wrenches a la Steve Matchett in Formula One.
Yeah.
Those two kindred spirits. Lots of history with that car at $175 grand. Now to the 1957 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing.
Yeah, production was winding down on the Gullwing in 1957. This is a very late production example. 1,400 300 SL Gullwings were built between 1954 and 1957. Rudge-style wheels, that's a very expensive item right there if you're restoring your Mercedes, to find a set and to have them restored and mounted. Factory belly pans still in place on the car. And of course, both the cosmetics and mechanicals completely refurbished and restored by Canepa Design.
And those unfamiliar with the Gullwing design and asking why, well, there's a very good engineering reason for that. Is because the sill area that we're picking up now below the door is full of a lattice work of steel interlaced to each other to give it the strength. So you have to figure out another way to get it into the car.
Yep.
A conventional door wasn't going to work.
It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. And that's another example, in this case, of Mercedes feeding off the racing company, thinking, how can we, oh, I know what we can do. Let's put a Gullwing door in. We've figured it.
You know, and those Gullwing doors, they presented somewhat of a challenge for young ladies getting in and out of the car. It was recommended that you would wear your yoga pants, not your mini skirt, when getting in or out of these cars.
Yeah. You have to be a lead performer with Cirque du Soleil to make it look smooth,
yes.
right?
You had to be a contortionist, but it did not matter. Look at the value of this automobile.
1.375 is the bid.
Of course, this was a derivative of the 300 SLR, the special or super light racer that Mercedes campaigned before going to the road-going version of the Gullwing cars.
Not really.
Mechanical fuel injection, that was kind of a pace setter in production cars back in '57. Of course, Chevy was doing its version of fuel injection over here in 1957. But this was a different kind of architecture for the fuel injection in the Mercedes-Benz. As we mentioned earlier, they would have dry sump lubrication.
I'm 145 max.
You already bid more than that. Kinda, a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
Kinda.
I love you a lot. Hey, can you help me? Where are we gonna
do 1.5 and I'll do 5%.
I mean,
1.5.
Oh, that was a huge windup from Frank Mecum and the $1.5 million bid.
That was worth $100,000 just to see him do that.
I had to cut a deal over there too. So can I net you $1,475,000? I understand, but I had to cut a deal over there. Can I net you $1,475,000?
Raise your deal over here.
I already did.
What's the bat for? What's the bat
The gentleman in the neon green jacket is Don Davis, and he's the consignor a long time. Mecum customer, and the reserve is off at $1.5 million.
Don, a very successful automobile dealer.
Yes.
And you can tell that he knows the ropes when negotiating.
He sure does.
We got to go hunt bear, shoot with the big bullets.
Did we just witness a masterclass of putting a deal together there?
We did. Very true, Steve Matchett. $1.5 million, and we have a new member of the seven-figure club here.
Oh, make room.
In Monterey, California.
Yes, sir.
Okay, more contenders coming up, and this is the 1951 Ferrari 212 Export Touring Barchetta.
Yeah, this is a car that had a lot of conversation going into the auction this week here. They do not come to the auction block very often, and you can see on the bidding board how people have been anticipating this Ferrari. The Barchetta, it's a little boat. That's what that translates to, and you can see from the shape of this car how they came up with that. The color's Rosso Corsa, 147 horsepower, V12. 2.5-liter V12. Can you believe that? A little displacement 12-cylinder engine. This particular car has a great racing history. It has a great concours history. It has been raced in Rio de Janeiro back in the 50s, Buenos Aires, in Europe. It has won its class. It has finished on the podium in several events. So it's not just a pretty face.
Steve Matchett, you're right there with it.
Once again, it is a work of art from Maranello. I particularly love the line of the car from the top of the wheel arch, how it carries across the car. We'll just pick up the Super Leggero badges as well here to indicate it's a super lightweight car. Enzo Ferrari and Ferrari's engineers at their finest. V12, 212, 212cc per cylinder. But the end result, as you guys are saying, it's beautiful. And again, as it's a Barchetta, don't look for any sort of top to it. There isn't one.
Yep.
There isn't there.
You know, and it is so simple in its beauty.
Yeah.
There is very little chrome. There is very little flash, if you will. Nothing that really says, hey, look at me.
Right.
It's all about the engineering under the hood and the comfort and the quality of the ride behind the wheel.
Who was it that said simplicity and the height of sophistication? Is that Da Vinci, I think?
Don't look at me.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Our audience will correct us if I've got that
Yes.
right. But there's an example of that. Simplicity is the height of sophistication.
Very true. Well, at $2 million, that will be the high mark for now, and we anticipate it needing considerably more than that. So at this point of the program, time to turn it over to Chris Jacobs for today's Stay-Bill Performance Tip.
Thanks, Gab. Well, earlier we saw the Twisted 67 GTO go across the block. Well, I've got a much more traditional and stock GTO from 67 right here. But, you know, here on the Monterey Peninsula, we're right on the ocean. There's a lot of salt in the air, right? And collector cars and air salt are not best friends. That's why you need Stay-Bill Rust Stopper. It stops existing rust and corrosion from spreading. Spray a little bit on there. It penetrates and lubricates. Just make sure that rust gets nowhere on your beautiful collector car. And this one certainly is beautiful. Awesomely restored. Just looks like it came out of the factory. In fact, it's got a replication of the sticker here. $37.54 was the original price tag on this car. And I assume that this thing is going to go for a lot more money. Just absolute gorgeous. This thing deserves to be cruised around the Monterey Peninsula, so I hope whoever buys it is a local. Scott, back to you.
Hey, good thought, Chris. Thank you. That's our stable performance tip, and you can find out much more about Rust Stopper and the entire line of stable products at the website there in the lower left-hand corner. Here's a 1958 Edsel Citation convertible.
Interesting history behind this car, known as the Solid Gold Edsel, one of only 930 Citation convertibles that were built in '58, with fewer than 15 restored to this level. This car, once owned by Robert Horton. Remember the old television series Wagon Train?
Okay.
It was sponsored by Edsel. He owned this car. This is spent some time in a couple of other high-end collections, and look at the money on this Edsel at $157,500. And this is a car that, you know, back in the day, it was 1958, few people would pay $500 for it. But boy, times have changed. Again, these are those, you know, these are the cars that make up the once the pariahs, and now they're the superstars of the automotive world.
When you bid 167.5, I go like that, and it's yours. No, he gets first chance. 167.5.
Probably close on this.
How many people think he should just give the 167.5 and end it?
Yeah, I don't see the consignor walking away from a bid like that.
Because here's
the Edsel, they're still
the
trying
other
to
side of the
tell
coin
him
is
lift
that if
his
you
reserve.
counter and they take it off, then he can still bid.
Someone.
So
his reserve was
at 167.5, you don't. I mean, that'd be the easiest
Or is
thing.
it 167.5 is his
And
reserve,
yeah, I'll do it. Take it home.
which is insane.
Yeah, you've come that far.
Edsel ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Does he have counter and no? He doesn't.
Well, let's see if he says.
doesn't, then I'm going to close it at $157,500.
Okay, they're within 10 grand, I think, Bill.
Oh,
so
well.
And now I'll bring us 99. A
they're
71
closed.
They'll do
Ferrari
some horse trading
365
post-block. You watch what happens.
Well, the bid goes on, and we will move on to the first of 3 consecutive Ferraris, and we begin with 4-cam Daytona from 1971, 365 GTS 4. Wait a minute, they just sold the last car. I'll get the number for you as you guys talk about this Daytona.
Once again, Stephen, big money, high-end Ferrari on the block.
It's a masterclass of engineering from Maranello. What's better than a Daytona? It's going to be a Daytona Spider, possibly, if that's what you like. They only made 122 of them from the factory. The designation, so you would know, 365 GTB4 would be the Berlinetta, the fixed top version. The GTS4 is S for Spider, and that /4 is the full cam engine that you guys have just referenced there. So all the details of the car are effectively hidden in the name designation, but the Spider will do it every time.
2.2 million, and just to clarify, that Edsel did sell for 157.5.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Rolling slow, 2,250,000 a bid. At 2 million here, 250. Not gonna be 2, not gonna be about pound here, 250. And not gonna be 2, not gonna be there, not gonna be 2, not gonna be 50. And not gonna be 50, not gonna be. We'll do not get a bit of a 15, not get a 2, not get a bit of a pound, not get a 250 on hand, 2,250,000. Yes or no? 250 it is. Close it at 2 million 2. Close it at 2 million 2. We're not far to go. The bid goes on.
Now I'm bringing us
And even Matt Morbeck says 2.2. We don't have far to go.
Offered by the original
on that
owner
car.
and family. Body designed by Pininfarina and produced by Scaglietti.
So we'll keep our eyes on that one as we welcome to the middle of the block now one of the main attraction cars for us here. And this is the 1973 Dino 246 GTS that was involved in the Cannonball a number of years ago.
That's right, Scott. The Cannonball Dash And the driver, Jack May and Rick Klein drove it from New York to LA in world record time. Only took them 35 hours and 53 minutes. They beat, there's Jack right there in the blue blazer with the white fedora hat. Jack is very proud of the world record that he set. Crossed the finish line at Redondo Beach. I just spoke to him and his lovely wife a moment ago. I said, what was your proudest moment in setting this world record from coast to coast in this Dino? He said, the moment that I got the stamp on that piece of paper that I set a world record. And one of his favorite stories, he was driving through the rain in Ohio in this Dino at over 90 miles per hour, got picked up by law enforcement, was actually arrested and taken to jail. But they let him go because the arresting officer was a, quote, car guy. So he got out of jail and continued his quest. But so many amazing stories in this Dino. Steve Matchett is standing next to the car itself. Just an exquisite 1973 Ferrari Dino, right, Steve?
Yeah, and we've just had a look inside the engine bay and picked up the spark plugs and the spark plug leads. And again, talking to the chief mechanic who was responsible for that car in the Cannonball Run, said the only thing we had to do was change the spark plugs because they fouled because the car was being followed by the police car, so they had to slow down. Got oil on the plugs as a result.
We see the reserve off at 600,000. You restored a 246 GT.
Yeah, I've done a GTB.
Yeah. Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Nowhere on the exterior of the car do you see Ferrari, but on the door, on the data panel, on the inside of the driver's side door, Ferrari, right?
Yeah, when Ferrari launched the car, they were so wrapped up with the idea of Ferrari being a V12 engine constructor, they didn't really know what to make of the Dino when they'd made it, and they said, okay, badge it as a Dino, sell it as a Dino.
And that's part of the reason that Jack selected the Dino, because it didn't have a lot of Ferrari badging, and he thought it would be more susceptible to law enforcement picking him up in a Ferrari than a Dino.
$600,000 for that Dino. Now to the third of our 3 Ferraris in a row. Ferrari 275 GTB4 from 1967.
275, that predates the 365 that we've seen today. We just had that drop top 365 earlier. This one purchased from the previous owner who had the car since 1969. The car was 2 years old when it changed hands. It has that vicious V12 engine in it.
Yeah, and it's the 4-cam version, Bill. You can tell that because it's got those 2 smaller black crackle cover covers with the spark plugs going between them. That's an indication that it's a 4-cam engine of the Colombo engine. Fundamentally exactly the same architecture as in the mighty 250 GTO, and you can see a lot of similarities with the design of the car. We've talked about that yesterday, how many of the lines across this car look very similar, but the end result of the 275 GTB, think back to what we were just talking about with the Daytona Spider. So again, if this is a GTB, it's the Berlinetta, it's the fixed top, it's a /4, so it's the 4-cam engine. So there it is, the GTB4, the 275, and again, an absolute masterclass in design. It is a beautiful, beautiful machine in its own right, but a lot of the lines and the inspiration for that car came from the 250 GTO.
Yes, and that's obvious to see. Also, a landmark car for Ferrari, front engine, rear transaxle. Broke new ground with this car.
Well, the high bid at $2.2 million. We are inside our final hour with you from Monterey. Back with more coverage in just a moment. Well, these are some of our favorite State Farm moments from here at Mecum Monterey thus far. State Farm, one of our long-term partners and sponsors. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You guys appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. That's a nice goal.
And some amazing cars and amazing moments. And more to come here at Mecum Monterey.
Congratulations, brother. Yeah, man.
We are back live now on the block with 1964 Porsche 356C And the opening bid for us is going to be at $50,000, or at $150. I'm sorry.
Big difference.
Yes.
Yes. Well, the days for the 356 series Porsche were numbered by now as they were phasing these out, getting into the 911s. And Chris, you get a little weepy-eyed here when you see some of these 356s?
Of course. I mean, you know, I'm more of a 911 fan, but just the history of the company, this is where it all began. You know, I mean, after the Type 64, which was the ultimate beginning of Porsche as a brand, that was, you know, they only made 3 of those, but then went into quasi-mass production of these 356s, and it really changed the landscape for Porsche. And they really weren't trying to do anything but just produce a car that was driver friendly, you know, something that you could daily drive, and just that little flat 4 in there powering you along, and the style is just timeless.
We are seeing a bid now of $280,000, and you talk about mass production. The bid goes on at $280,000. Mass production is relative.
Correct, and that's what I meant when I said
yes,
kind of mass production.
They were building at one time only 6 cars a day, and if you factored in from 1948 to 1965, they only built 76,000 in total.
Yeah.
Of the 356, the Speedster, the 356 series.
All the iterations, right?
Exactly. They were all built by hand by one guy, the engine and the transaxle. So we saw that one for $280,000. The bid they actually reopened the bidding on the previous car, that one. How about that green interior on this gray 356C? That's pretty cool. And the reserve is off.
You know, it's funny, Scott, up on the screen, the green pops so much more. It's much more subtle color green when you're looking at it in person. Really, really great combination. Very aesthetically pleasing.
And how about that? The gentleman that just bought that car is our good friend Bobby Brewster, a fantastic car collector right over there.
Love it. There he is.
In the front row, and he and Chicken George combined on that one for $285,000. Way to go, Bobby. All right. Hey, you know what? 1964 was pretty late in the 356 production line, but how about this? 1965, an exceptionally rare 356 SC Cabriolet, guys.
Yeah, we'll see where the bidding goes on this car. I mean, we just sit here kind of breathlessly watching how much money people are willing to spend. This has got that flat 4, the 1.6 liter. It's funny to see 95 horsepower in this car when less than an hour ago we had 700 horsepower Porsches crossing the block. Boy, I'll tell you, what a great leap of performance Porsche has taken over the last 60, 70 years.
That's for sure. And you know, the 356 production didn't just butt up against the 911 production. There was a little bit of overlap.
Yes.
Which is why we're seeing the 1965 here. And also Porsche said to itself, well, we need to offer our customer base the flat 4, because that's what we're in these 356s, and that's where the 912 came into play, which is essentially the same exact style as the 911, only had that flat 4 instead of the flat 6.
Right, so the 912 was actually maybe a step backwards in performance.
Oh, big time step back in performance, but it was offering its customer base the same kind of drivability everyday performance of the 356 with the styling of the 911. And it's funny, you know, testament to the value of air-cooled Porsches, even now the 912 market is really up there as well as the 911.
We've talked about that, you know. Suddenly automobiles that nobody would take a second look at are taking a second look at now.
Okay, a high bid here, $240,000. Moving on to the next Porsche. It's a 2011 GT2 RS.
Well, we had the 2011 RS 4.0 earlier, and here's the GT sibling to it. This is the GT2 RS. Exposed carbon hood, exposed carbon side views. There's a little bit of exposed carbon on the wing back here too. I mean, it's just a magnificent car. And again, we talked about it earlier, a 14-year-old car that looks brand new. Just Porsches are just that timeless design.
Yeah, anybody that wants one of these high-end Porsches is probably going to take care of it. You got to believe that they are going to be just lavished with care and maintenance. 620 horsepower lurking inside this with that twin turbo 3.6 with a 6-speed manual. Black over black. It's got the carbon package, many other extras.
And somebody was very gentle with this car, just under 8,000 miles on the clock. So
yeah,
you are truly getting a time capsule here with this car, and the bidding is reflecting its value.
What's the expression? 7,000 carefully driven miles.
That's right.
Never raced.
To and from church on
yeah,
Sunday.
Right.
Closing at $750,000 for 200 grand shy.
Now I'll bring us 106
$750,000. The bid goes on that GT2 RS. Now, Bill, one of my favorite cars of this entire auction. It's a 63 Ferrari 400 Super America Coupe Aerodinamico.
Stephen, we talked about this earlier. Another Ferrari with no racing pretensions at all. This is a road car all the way.
It is, but absolutely stunning collaboration between Pininfarina, designing and building the body, and Ferrari, building the mechanicals, of course. We've just had a look at that two-cam engine in the back. Exquisite interior, and this rather elongated rear onto the car. And as our camera comes round to show here, I just want to highlight the two cross flags on the back here of the houses of Ferrari and the houses of Pininfarina coming together to build this masterwork of engineering. But you're right, Bill. No racing heritage, but a beautiful creation.
And also, it's no secret that the name of this car is just not some cool name Ferrari came up with. This was a car that was designed to invade the American market and popularize the car here.
Absolutely. Ferrari had realized the full strength of the potential market in the United States. We've got to get in there. We've got to sell cars to them. And again, more proof as well that when you hear these stories about Enzo not caring about aerodynamics on the car, what nonsense!
Yeah, right.
Okay, we get to $2 million even on that 63 Ferrari. And will there be a bid goes on post-block sale in its future? We shall see. More coming up. Oh, what a serene sight that is. The California coastline, Central California coast, Monterey Bay, and the just the cool air here, cool in more ways than one, let me tell you. How about this, 93 Jaguar XJ220, don't see him often. And this one, the reserve's off at $420, and you really love these cars, don't you, Bill? You're a Jaguar guy anyway.
I got a couple Jaguars, but I would always look at these and say, man, someday the 220 meant 220 miles an hour. I think they got them to 218, not quite 220, but Tom Walkinshaw Racing involved in the development of these cars. Steve Matchett, I know you must look at these and say they are wonderkins of aerodynamics.
Well, I think they'd already had the badges made for 220 before they did the speed test. I thought, well, it's too late now.
Yeah, right.
All right, congratulations. They should have added a question mark at the end, a 220 question mark.
That's right.
But no question here that the XJ220 just hammered for $430,000.
Yeah, great. 542 horse out of that V6.
Boy, I don't know if that's any kind of a record for these cars, but it's
hard
good
to track.
coin.
They don't come across very often.
Very true. Okay, so we move to another Porsche, and this one goes way back in the history books. Race car, 1959 718 RSK center seat.
Yeah, an extravagant history for these. Now, if you had slot cars when you were a kid and you're my age, you remember the Porsche RSKs. Almost every slot racing kid had one of those in there, and those were legendary race cars for Porsche. This is a derivative of it. This is the 718 RSK. Only 4 were factory built. And this one with the center steering, which could be converted to offset steering as well. 1.5 liter flat 4-cylinder engine and a 5-speed manual transaxle. Race history, all kinds. And the bidding, well, we're sneaking up on perhaps $3 million.
Just get $3 million bid. And now $3 to get $3 to get $3 million. $3 million one. You're out there to get $3 million one. I need a bit $3 million one. Hit $3 million 100,000. Hit about 100 a bit $3 million one. $3 million two. $3 million one's bid. $3 million 200,000. $3 million two and time 100 a bit $3 million two.
This hasn't been put out to pasture either, by the way. This is still vintage raced, so it still has a lot of life left in it.
Boy, there's a lot of overhang on that exhaust hanging out the rear of the car underneath in terms of vibration, potential vibration on it.
Yeah.
Let's have another look at that. There it is. Look at that.
Very manly looking exhaust system there, actually.
It sure is, yeah.
Did he get $3.2 million?
Close the mill at $3,200,000. The bid goes on at $3,200,000. Approaching the block is on.
So that's where we will wind up for the moment for that 1959 Porsche. And another 356A is in place right behind that little race car. That sunroof, by the way, go ahead, Bill. I was going to just say that sunroof from the factory. That's an important little factoid.
Now, as we take a look at this 356A, which is the car that came in after the pre-A, where does this slot in, Chris, in terms of the other ones that we've seen? Is there any way to categorize these? Yeah, the other ones we've seen.
Well, I think it's, just the progression of the letter cars. Like you said, you had the pre-A, the A, the B, and then the C. And then they went to the SC to finish out the run of the 356s. Admittedly, I am not as schooled as I am on the 911s as I am the 356s, so I don't think I could properly answer your question.
Well, I love your honesty, but you know 100 zillion times more than I do about Porsches, so that's why I tossed it to you.
Well, we'll rely on the stats. How about that?
Okay.
We'll give you some specs.
Let's do that.
But yeah, factory sunroof car, I'm sure is fairly rare, and obviously a phenomenal restoration here. That aquamarine blue over that red interior is just such a cool color combination.
High bid here at $300,000. And the aquamarine blue red interior, beautiful combination there, will roll toward the bid goes on. And 1959 BMW is next. And yes, a BMW 507 Roadster.
A car as valuable and desirable as many of the Porsches that we've seen come through. This is the halo car for for BMW back in 1959. And talk about an influence. This car influenced the Z8, the modern Z8, the Z3 and the Z4. There's a little bit of this car in all of those. Had a 150 horsepower V8 engine. This one totally restored, as you can see. Formerly owned by a well-known BMW collector. You may know Goetz Faflin. And other things about this car make it special. Besides the restoration and the presentation, this has been in the hands of very few collectors. It has not changed hands very much, and it's only one of 252 that have been built, and we're at $1.5 million.
I always thought that Volvo, with their C70, took a little bit of the flavor of this car for the design of that. I see elements of that in the Volvo C70.
Yeah, you could make an argument that long front and kind of short tail configuration probably stuck in the minds of a lot of automotive designers over the years. But that car has lost none of its appeal or desirability.
$1,700,000. Final call, $1,700,000 to have. Gonna close bid at $1,600,000.
Well, the car that almost cost BMW its life. I mean, they lost money. It was very expensive to build. It ends up being a bid goes on car here today at Mecum Monterey. More coming up as we get set to wrap up the weekend.
The 250 GTO, the Gran Turismo Omologato, is an absolute watershed moment for Ferrari.
Graham Hill raced this car. Salvadori raced this car. And every time I hold that wheel, I know that, hey, I'm connecting to those people.
If you're going to own the best of the best, you got to have a GTO.
It represents excellence, and it represents everything that Ferrari are known for.
Well, I am on hallowed ground here. I am within the restraining walls of the display of the 1962 250 GTO, and I am with Fred Russell, the caretaker of this special vehicle. We've heard all the stats. We've seen inside. We know the specs. I want to know from you, Fred, as the caretaker of this special car, what is it like to drive it?
Well, you know, this thing is pure race car. I mean, as you climb into it, you are sitting in the technology from 1962, absolutely fun and crazy. So you climb in it, it's loud, it's aggressive, it's, everything about it, it drives right down into your soul. So as you're driving it, your hands, your feet, your butt, everything is actually experiencing everything that car is doing. As you fly around corners, this thing talks to you the entire way, the sound and the feel. And so there's absolutely nothing about it that's boring. You get the most simple drive down the street, and this car is exciting.
It's the ultimate analog experience. I mean, it is essentially you are part of the car.
Yeah, well, when you get done driving it, you know you're the one that drove it. A lot of the new cars, they do so many things to help you. This isn't helping you. This thing's saying, if you want to die, I'll help you. It is very, very fun, and it's going to sound good the entire time as you do it.
And obviously an unbelievable racing history connection. What's that like when you're driving the car? Can you feel like you're the next link in the chain?
Just asking that question, I get goosebumps on my arm, because I sit there and think about it. Every time I touch that wheel, it's the same wheel that Mr. Parks drove and used. Same one that John Coombs used. It's the same one that Graham Hill, the world champion in 1962, same wheel he held. And so I'll tell you what, that just gets right into you as well. It is amazing, and I feel that. And it's like I'm connected to the history.
Well, Fred, it sounds like they got the perfect guy to be the caretaker of this amazing vehicle going across the auction block next January in Kissimmee.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Chris Jacobs. Thank you, Mr. Russell. Fantastic. We cannot wait. I can't wait to see what's going to materialize with this 1972 365 GTB4 Daytona Spider conversion. And those last two words are important, Steve Matchett and Bill.
Yeah. Yes, they are. And when you look at the name of this car, it is a 365 GTB for Daytona. So it was originally the Berlinetta, as we were describing earlier on. After that, it went to be converted into the Spider, but not by the factory. You know, so
yes.
That's why it has to carry the GTB designation and not the GTS designation.
Yep. Well, the high bid on that Ferrari is $600,000. And while we were listening to Chris and Fred and talking about that 250 GTO, this 1932 Packard 905 Twin 6 Coupe, Bill Stevens Coupe Roadster, gabbled for $520 grand.
Yes, and rightly so. The restoration on this without fault. As you can see, the 905 Twin 6 Coupe Roadster was one of the higher end offerings from Packard in 1932. 445.5 cubic inch L-head V12 with 160 horsepower. I know it sounds funny, but this was a hot rod back in 1932, and only the wealthy need apply.
Okay, I'm going to turn you loose quickly on this custom 59 Vet.
Oh man, this is hand fabricated practically from the ground up. Corvette correction custom chassis, LS conversion, 376 cube, 430 horsepower. LS3 with a T56, where have you heard that before? 6-speed manual transmission with a Dana 44 rear end. That is a bulletproof drivetrain so far. They've added independent rear suspension. We wouldn't see that in a Corvette from the factory till 63. Vintage air conditioning, red silver coves. Beautiful Z06 styled alloy wheels polished to a fine gloss. Show quality chrome trim. Even has those Dakota digital dash gauges there. And let's sit back as the reserve is off and see how much higher it goes.
150.
150,000.
Hey! 150. Give 155. 155. 150, 155, higher neighbor to get 55, 60, higher neighbor to get 60 pounds and 160, F5, right there, 165 to now, 165, and now 70 bid, 170 pounds and 170 pounds another bid, higher neighbor to get 70, 170 pounds and higher neighbor to get 170 pounds of bid, F5, 175, I get 170, I believe her though, 175, and 170.
Go 172.5. I appreciate it.
Okay, they're out, and that gentleman just bought it for 170. It's quite a Corvette, isn't it?
Hey, Scott, Restomod Corvettes have not run out of gas yet by any means.
No, sir. 1947 Ford Super Deluxe convertible. That's what we're looking at.
Flathead power, the 239 cubic inch flathead. Always love these flathead engines, man. Boy, do they take you back. If a real hot rod historian. 221 cube flathead preceded this. And both versions of these flathead engines, we see them pop up in hot rods, but this one, nope, this is an original 47 Super Deluxe convertible. 3-speed manual transmission. And nicely presented. Not a very expensive automobile. But you know what? Because the price of this is not too prohibitive, this could be the starting point for a hot rod for somebody.
Very true.
Fat fendered 47, you know?
I always remember I almost had to reach over and tighten JK's seatbelt when a flatty came across the block.
He loved him.
He loved him. He cut, and I'm talking about JK, the professor, John Cramen, rest his soul. He kind of cut his shop teeth on the flathead V8, didn't he?
Yeah, he did so many things when it comes to the automotive world. I mean, he could fix them, he could sell them, he could describe them. He was just one of a kind.
22,000 for that one. 2007 Ferrari F430 on our auction block now.
What do you think, Steve?
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool cars. Automatic, so the manual transmission has gone away at this point. The car is loaded with F1 style technology on the car to try and keep the car stable. Desirable. They sound great. They look great. 4.3 litre V8. Let's bring the camera around and have a look in the back here. And they pushed it as far forward as they can. Very high plenum chambers on it. But look how low down Ferrari have managed to get the cylinder heads each side. Again, that idea of get all the componentry as low down to the track or as low down to the road as you can, which will greatly improve the center of gravity and make the car much more nimble handling. Ferrari did stellar work with this car to make that happen.
Steve, I'm going to ask you a question, kind of go back through your memory banks. 2007, what was Ferrari doing in F1? Were they?
Yeah, they were doing well. It was Kimi Räikkönen winning the World Championship for Ferrari as a driver. You know, they were good times.
They were the big dogs back then.
Good times, noodle salad, as Jack Nicholson might say.
Well, this one brings 150,000 bucks. And we've talked a little bit about the lineage from front to back on the 356s, and this goes all the way back to 1955. This is Chris's car from the top of the show, a 1955 356 Pre-A.
Yeah, what I loved about this car was not only the pre-A quality of it, so obviously early 356, but also the way that this car has been slightly modified with its drivetrain. They're calling it outlawed, which is a common term in the 356 world. Rod Emery is probably the most famous customizer of outlaw Porsches. But this one, nothing's been done to the body. Everything is stock appearing. It's all about this flat four right here, which was actually sourced from a 912. We were mentioning that a little bit earlier. Now that is mated to a transaxle. It's a Porsche 741 transaxle that was specially built for road rallying. So this car is ready to get out there and go a long way and do it efficiently.
385. We got 375 and 385.
While people are crawling over each other to bid on this Porsche, I gotta believe we're gonna get a sale if it keeps going like this.
And you know, in spite of what I just told you about the engine, if you buy this car and you want to put it back to its original specs, you have the opportunity to do that, because along with that 912 source flat 4 is the original engine that came out of this car.
That's what I tell anybody that starts modifying their car. Don't throw anything away.
Yep. Bag it and tag it.
Bag it and tag it.
Okay, make them roll.
That did not work. However,
375 is bid.
Raise your bid to $400,000.
Okay, 400 is the Mecum rule number.
But
those are Rudge wheels, by the way, German Rudge wheels.
Very desirable.
he said,
Yes, sir.
Originality on
take the reserve off. He upped his bid. That's better than nothing. He raised his bid to $380,000.
That
sir.
should do it.
Would you like to let him know it's on sale? We got
See that badge that you just closed
That's
up
the same
on?
as your
That's a
reserve.
Reuter
You gotta
body
take a little
badge.
less.
So once again,
400.
Reuter
Okay,
used to build the
10%
bodies for
360.
Porsche. Porsche acquired them, and then they went on to become, of course, Recaro, the seat maker.
It would net would be 360. I'm offering you 355.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Just clearing up the bit of difference going on there, and the reserve is off at 380, and that's our hammer price.
Take a look here. Coming down the lane, lot F, 120.
A lot of great originality on that car, too. The original hood, the doors, the seats, the deck lid, the instrument panels. Awesome.
Probably not a lot of them have had the modifications that this one has received, too, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, we move on now to a pretty legendary wing car, guys. 1969 Dodge Daytona Hemi race car.
Well, where do we begin on this automobile? Of course, there was a legend in NASCAR, the Dodge Hemi Daytona. 1970, Bobby Isaac won the championship, but this car was the ride for the Hall of Famer Bobby Allison, a true 200-mile-an-hour NASCAR automobile. This was a car that Richard Petty wanted to race in, and Plymouth said, oh, no, you're a Plymouth guy, and so he went over and drove for Ford for 1 year, and then they built the Superbird. That wooed Petty back into the fold, and boy, the rest, as they say, is history. Bobby.
Oh. Reserves off.
Oh, that
1 million.
wait a minute, I'm not done yet.
Go, Bill, go.
Oh, man. I love it.
There we go. Take us to 7 figures, Bill.
Oh, man, we are there.
And at least 2 bidders in the mix here, guys.
First car to go 200 miles an hour on the NASCAR circuit, courtesy of Buddy Baker, a car that looked very similar to this livery.
Very similar. Buddy Baker, who I worked with covering NASCAR, I used to talk about that car and said that was one of the goals. It was a tire test. They wanted to see how the tires would perform at 200 miles an hour, and he gave it to them.
This is the 5th car in our $1 million club so far today.
The difference between that is you don't
the
have
similarities between this and what Dodge built as the Charger 500 to make it more aerodynamic. Underneath this cone would be a very flush grille right here. They put some larger chrome up the A-pillar, and the most significant part, they flushed this rear glass for aerodynamic effect.
We got $1,150,000, asking $1,200,000.
We're in. Yep, we're in that 1 million. Now we're out. 1,200,000 is bid. 1,250,000, sir. Told you I wouldn't beg you, but I'll ask you a whole bunch of times. So, yeah, we're at 1,200,000. They're asking 1,250,000. Do you want to be at that 250? Third time's a charm. Everyone's slowing down, just like you. One more time.
1,200,000 to bid.
One more.
$1,250,000 all in are done. 1,250,000.
Yeah. Okay. All right, sir.
How about that? 1.2 million.
Yep, I want to quickly mention, autographed by Bobby Allison in 2 places. Chrysler brought in their aerospace engineers to help design the aero in this car. One of those gentlemen was George Wallace. He autographed the car too.
back in Monterey, our final segment, and that is a live look at a GT3 RS, 911 GT3 RS, just sold for $310,000.
Boy, blue chip Porsches. What do we say, 23 at the beginning of the day today?
Yes.
And many of them have sold. I'd love to know what the ratio to sales are for the Porsches today.
Yeah, we'll get our people on that. That one's leaving the building again, a live look, and don't look now, but there's one right behind it. And this is a supreme heavy hitter, a 2015 918 Spider. We're already above $1 million.
Yeah, 887 horsepower, 944 pound-feet of torque with a 7-speed PDK dual-clutch automatic transmission. It's got that liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack. Of course, this is a hybrid, and what an automobile. I mean, we've talked about engineering all day, yeah. Steve Matchett.
We have, and I noticed, you know, as soon as the car hit the block, it took about 15 milliseconds to get to $1 million.
Yes.
Well, where the Carrera GT was the analog version and almost too scary to actually drive. I mean, you have to essentially be a professional driver to properly handle the Carrera GT. The 918, much more user-friendly, a lot more digital, a lot more safety features in this car. And as you said, Bill, the hypercar putting out that crazy horsepower and then assisted at the front and rear with those electric motors.
And you think about 887 horsepower, that's a 10-year-old, almost 11-year-old car.
Right. And the Carrera GT, I think, is 604 horsepower, somewhere around there. And this has close to 300 more. And you're saying it's more user-friendly.
Well, absolutely, just based on the safety features that are built into this car. You know, I mean, the Carrera GT was kind of at the end of that analog era of Porsches in the mid-90s. But this car, I mean, it looks like a spaceship. You know, it's 10 years old, and it looks, again, it looks from the future. It's an incredible piece of engineering.
We're a little bit apart here, but if you give $1,450,000, let me go try, and I'll do 6%. But I don't. He's wanting that $1,650,000.
Yeah.
So.
And I know Timmy very well, so it's hard. $1,450,000. 6%. So what's that put me in the car at roughly?
So it's another 100 basically.
Yeah, but basically $1,550,000.
50. Yeah.
Now let the bid go on.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Where do you want to be total?
We're going to close the bid there at $1,400,000. Price still working?
I think the car is a 1.45 car, somewhere in that ballpark. Honestly, and I was telling him, if the car didn't have an accident on the Carfax, I would have bid the car to $2 million.
Sure, but you're $1,375,000.
All right, $1.4 million, and they're going to continue talking about it. We're going to let it go to bid goes on. So we have an opportunity now to run down our top selling cars for you. And we begin with that legendary 300 SL Roadster, Mercedes-Benz 1959, that sold for $1.35 million. And guess what? Its slightly older brother, the 300 SL Gullwing, is in our number 2 spot at $1.5 million. Absolute beautiful pair of 300 SLs, but our number 1 seller of this day at this point, a 1969 Lamborghini Miura P400S, gabbled a little bit earlier for $1.8 million, 370 horse, 3.9 liter V12, the neon green or verde Miura Pistachio with blue interior. What a remarkable car, and it's our top seller today. And here's a look at our top 5.
Well, you know what? Yesterday, out of our top 5, we had 4 European cars and 1 American car. And we have duplicated it again today with the Dodge Daytona sneaking in at number 5.
All right, let's check in one last time. Final word from Danielle Trotta.
Final word from the fairway, Scott. Almost sad to say goodbye. It always is from Del Monte Golf Course because they're such fabulous hosts. Monterey's a special place, a great crowd on hand, some spectacular cars. You just saw the top sellers. We had 5 cars top the seven-figure mark. Some very exquisite classics and exotics. Hope you guys enjoyed the show here on ESPN+. And as the summer comes to an end and the calendar turns to autumn, we'll see you again for Mecum Indy Fall Special. The first weekend of October, we are back live and streaming on October 3rd. We'll see you guys then.
And that will wrap it up for us.
Hey, I think I said 4 of those cars were European. We had a Duesenberg in there.
Yes.
So, well, Augie and Fred Duesenberg once went to Europe. So, I wasn't completely wrong.
Thank you for tying up that loose
Gotta
end.
clean it up, babe.
We appreciate that. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here from Mecum Monterey on ESPN+. Don't forget, our telecasts from both days are going to be available starting Thursday on Mecum's YouTube channel. And then, as Danielle mentioned, we're back in Indy for our fall special starting October 3rd on ESPN+. For Bill Stevens, Chris Jacobs, Danielle Trotta, Steve Matchett, I'm Scott Hoke. Thanks so much for watching. Good night from Monterey.
$1,350,000. $1,800,000.